Alright, here we go. We are live with the grand final of the Adept division in Necropolis Grail. The tournament is played on fast speed, C2.0 here. Unfortunately, in recorded games playback as this is, you won't really get the actual fast speed, which is a bummer, but not something you can do about right now. So in the finals we have Zupamann versus qwerty. Zupamann here picking Aztecs. Very nice pick for graveyards here. Look at all the relics all around here. Also gold spots. Gold spots are horrible for Zupamann actually. He has two golds in the back of his base and one to the side, but that's about it. And then there's all of the rest of the golds on the map are on the qwerty's side more or less. So Zupamann is really going to have to be the aggressor here. However, he's up against another Metal here, playing as against Mayans, which is qwerty's choice for this one. Mayans always a solid pick for open land maps. They are have a very cheap archers, so they have an easier job replenishing and producing archers than any other civ. And considering hills around this map, that an archer's play could really be rewarded here for graveyards. There's also the option of fishing here, where qwerty is kind of closer here. You could dock right here and he would be very close to his TC, home TC. For Zupamann it's a bit more awkward, but he hasn't actually scouted it yet either, but it's not too far away from him either. qwerty could have gone for a lane here actually, because there's a boar here. Hi Zupamann, there you are. So you have a finalist in the chat, that's nice. So nice fishing opportunities here, a bit closer to qwerty as said, but Zupamann on the right hand side could also exploit this option. And there's the neutral pawn in the back here as well, which has some deep fishing as well. The pawn generation on the graveyards can be incredibly unfair, but in this case it looks okay. Might actually see some water fighting here, as qwerty tries to snipe Zupamann's boar here. So he saw it actually while scouting, and he goes for the lane a bit later here, and Zupamann probably realizes but doesn't have his scout close, so he can't really do anything about it. So sneaky laying attempt by qwerty here. Looks like he might succeed as well, but how's it going to affect his production? He's not getting housed, he's not stopping production, and he's still close to bringing this boar all the way home. So that would set Zupamann pretty much back in the early game here. But at the cost of scout HP for qwerty here. Of course, if the boar gets another hit, this scout will go down as it does here, and the boar will run back. So looks like a failed lane for qwerty here. Yeah, that woman's never gonna catch up with this very fast pig. So you should bail, Mr. qwerty. Or are you actually going to get a hit here? It's a long run home, woman. Wow. So she actually caught up with... This is a world-class sprinter woman right here. She caught up with the wild boar. And since Ismail's has loom, this should probably be okay, but that's some... Come on, piggy, I want to eat you. Yeah, exactly. So... At the cost of some HP, of course, and this woman should... Oh, come on! What is this? Okay, a bit of wavering of attention here, and the pig runs home. Yeah, that's never gonna happen, man. qwerty just doesn't want to give up on this lane, it's hilarious. He's not gonna catch it up this time, and Zupamann probably will be paying attention here or try to catch up with it. Seriously though, this is such a waste of villager time. It's not worth it going for it for the third time here. Especially when there's fish to be taken as well, you could just go for the fish instead and get some food. And look at this, Zupamann just on the spot here, ready to take the boar before qwerty can snag it, or try and snag it for the third time here. Doesn't seem to have taken its toll on qwerty's production here though, he has a slight villager lead. We played on 200 ping to have equal ping. Oh boy, yeah, that's right, in the hours. Oh, look at the forward barracks. Why would you even try a lame at 200 ping? That's just not optimal. Here comes the barracks. Can Zupamann see this? Probably not right now, and probably shouldn't worry too much either. Because this isn't really going to do too much, except for maybe for a Drush style play. I don't know what the plan is here for qwerty. Could get some militia out, of course, and accuse the militia, but is housed. So this militia will be delayed, and meanwhile the walls will be, if not complete, at least the pathing will have to happen all the way around here. Which is where he probably wants to hit though with this militia. He wants to hit the berries. And docks on this side as well. Let's provide some line of sight for qwerty here. And yo, light corbo. Provide some line of sight and also shorter way to whatever water fight might happen here. But qwerty, not with a stellar economy, no gold at all right now, still in the Dark Age, will stay in Dark Age for a while. Meanwhile, Zupamann is nearly in the Feudal Age and with, well, with only 22 pop here as qwerty gets housed again. But I'd really like to see these militia try and find another section here. So qwerty actually knows very little about his opponent's base here. And probably assumes that everything is walled here. It's open on this side, it's open on this side. No, not open here anymore. Never mind. But if the militia had gone straight away, this side will have been open and he could have hit the berries. But that's the lacking of scouting. That's karma for qwerty trying to snag the boar here with his scout. He lost his scout, he's completely blind to the rest of the map now, doesn't know any relics location. Will have a tough time contesting the relics, and here runs into 3 militia from Zupamann, which might even be men-at-arms soon. An upgrade that Zupamann actually could get away with not doing here, since he's fighting 3 against 2 here, and that's it. The range also up for Zupamann now, who probably has a healthier eco to back this overall. So men-at-arms archers, 1 range archers. qwerty queues another militia to catch up here, but he's going to fight men-at-arms still, and that's going to be tough for him. Not to mention that Zupamann will have archers on the field as well. Just moving forward here. Zupamann, of course, has much more scouting intel, at least of the map overall. Not so much about qwerty's base here. Gets a bit unlucky here running into TC fire, but is still men-at-arms fighting against militia here. Now the wolf was chasing the blue militia here. Or angry housewives, as we call them on this channel. So probably attending to something at home as he leaves the men-at-arms here for a moment. We'll now use them to scout a bit, I assume. Actually, where's... Oh, there's the Eagle Scout. I knew it was here somewhere. So both players in Feudal Age now, qwerty with more villagers overall, but that's fishing eco working for him. And arms forward, taking qwerty off gold now. That's going to make his own archers a bit tougher, or even eagles, of course, should he consider transitioning into that. But being Mayans, he could outproduce here. Hey, Guildarts! I'm okay, how are you? Nice of you to stop by. Uh-oh, fighting under TC fire here. Not ideal, but the men-at-arms have delayed a little bit here, done some work over here. And meanwhile, archers are in production actually for both players, and should favor the Mayans actually. But then again, Aztecs have the potential for great skirms later in the game. So archers with fletching for Zupamann here, none fletching for qwerty, the Mayans player here, who has also added skirms. Wisely enough, he knew that archers were coming, also committing to a second archery range, whereas the Mayans player is still only on 1 from what I can see here. Zupamann not contesting water, that's huge for qwerty's food eco actually, but could still do some serious damage with his forward here. I think that was 1 forward villager Zupamann lost actually, so that's a bit of bad news for him. will probably see the second range going up here as well now on his opponent's side. Runs into TC Fire again, though. That's a bit of a waste of an archer, but lames the stone on the hill here. The villager went down, but the stone is stopped, means tougher time getting defensive towers up for qwerty. qwerty with lacking scouting intel probably doesn't know about neutral stones in the back either. He only knows about this one, and that's lamed away with some palisades. So only one potential defensive tower before market abuse for qwerty here. Going very heavily on wood, also closing in on the next H click here, with 4 on gold now. Fish Eco doing wonders for him here. It's also defending nicely with archers and skirms here, but is probably aiming for the earlier cast H click here than his opponent, who is still on 1 range, but committing to Feudal Age play here for now. So yeah, adding, I think, another fish, so making good use of the fishing potential here. It's going to be 5 fishing fish for qwerty in the end, who is overall with the villager lead, but the effective villager count is in Zupamann's hands, as he has 1 villager more total. Of actual working villagers, that is. Forward barracks will go down here. qwerty didn't really make any attempts to save that. Meanwhile, Zupamann is docking the pond here. Actually doesn't know about blue dock here, so could run into a surprise here. If blue is aware, has his awareness right here, he should be able to queue some army on water before, or even if he queues a galley as he sees that Zupamann docks this pond, he will almost be able to deny it, I believe. So no action going on forward for the moment here. Zupamann has pulled back. He needs to fight some forward archers and skirms here now, since the man-at-arm has kind of a meat shield and to get the skirms here. Takes a great engagement. It's going to be okay, not so great after all. Zupamann, actually, I expected that to be better, but maybe it's a bit hard to focus skirms in the mix here. Has the hill now though, and is also closer to the reinforcement, so cleans up before this forward can do any serious damage here. KD pretty even as well as qwerty with 2 more kills here. It's going to even out to 16-15. Military count in qwerty's favor though, so he's been producing more military. He's also, as I speculated earlier, it's a bit earlier to the castle age. I think he's floating, especially the food eco. With food income on water, he's not really committing anything on water here though, even though dock is up here. You should be seeing that by now because he's fishing right next to it. So I'd like to see some water action here as well, not allow either of the players to get the free boom. Here's the fire galleys, and since qwerty is going to be the castle first, he could also take war galley, but Zupamann is first out of the fire ships. This is surely going to mean at least a couple of fishing ships lost for qwerty before qwerty can get army presence on water himself. Incredible how this man-at-arm is still alive. Lions player committing to a 3rd range, almost goes up, but is denied just in time by qwerty here. He is floating quite a bit of resources at the moment. Should probably commit to some more upgrades on army and whatnot here. It seems he has quite a few on gold. He has 7 on gold here and 4 on gold here, 12 gold on gold total. Could even consider adding a barracks and mixing some eagles into the mix, but he's committing to archers and skirms for now. Meanwhile, Zupamann is going for the eagles here. But there's only eagle scouts, so they will die heavily to crossbows fire here. And it looks like qwerty, well, he pulled his fish away, but it doesn't seem like he wants to contest the rest of the fish that is here now. He's out with 1 fire galley, that's not going to be enough. Although he's queuing more, he should have probably been stacking up on inside the dock before engaging, seeing as there were 2 grey ships on the water here. Actually gets a kill here though, so he must have done some damage to this one earlier on. And qwerty now breaking in on Zupamann's side here. With a decent mass of crossbows and a couple of skirms here. 11 army total. He's up against only 3 military from Zupamann here, who is now queuing Eagle Warriors. So once he gets the numbers up, that should be enough to deal with the forward here. Will lose a little bit in the process here, but has a TC here to put the Eco Wood line and goal over on this side as well. qwerty will probably lose a little bit to TC Fire here now. So doesn't quite pay attention here, was probably microing a bit on water to take some engagements here, but will lose another Fire Galley. That's some more wood and gold down the drain for qwerty. Who is now making the best of his crossbow forward here, getting some pickups on the gold as well, adjusting the villager counts here. It's a 10 villager lead for qwerty now, but that includes these fishing ships that aren't really bringing in too much here right now. See, now that there are Eagle Warriors with some armor upgrades, they can tank a lot more crossbow fire shots, so they are not too easy to deal with for qwerty's forward here now either. He's going to lose this slowly but surely here, and yeah, this is Zupamann's fight to win. KD is going to adjust to more even numbers again here, and the forward has also been lost for Zupamann for the moment. Looks like qwerty is kind of winning the water engagement though. He's lost 4 of his fishing ships along the way, and I don't think Zupamann has added any fish so far, so his only investment was the dock and some wood and gold for the fire galleys. Well, it looks like they're leaving it at that for now. Monster is going up for Zupamann here. He is Aztecs, so after all he really wants to collect those relics because they generate extra gold, 33% extra gold. But now Eagle Warriors going forward, and qwerty has freed up his stone here, so he could go for the castle and Pluton Archers later on. Nah, I gave up on water. Yeah, exactly. Probably wasn't too significant. It is some free food income for your opponent though, but if you can deal some damage on land instead, that's obviously better overall, because fishing ships will only bring in food. So now 19 crossbows against 10 eagles, 11 eagles actually total. I'm pretty sure the eagles should win this, and qwerty wisely pulls back. Could be that he's expecting more for their more eagles forward here. He knows about that barracks, probably suspects something more is up since the eagle switch has already been done. qwerty really needs an answer to the eagles though. He needs to get some barracks up on his own and get some long swordsmen out, for example, or yeah, I don't know if he has any other options actually. It's mainly long swords. So it's eagles have nearly only half the numbers of the crossbows, should still be enough to take them out. I think they're missing the second Castellation upgrade, but attack upgrades are not what you're stressing the most. You're mainly going for the defensive upgrades in these for these kinds of units. Meanwhile, qwerty has expanded a little bit on the map, just getting a little bit of map intel or just having a dedicated house builder, but that does provide some line of sight after all. I don't think he has added. He has a monastery, so he's collecting relics as well, dropping another dock as well. So, but that seems a bit of an overinvestment here, considering there's only one deep fish left here. But of course, you could go for the fish traps as well. These crossbows will struggle. Still no prepared answer from qwerty here in terms of an eagle warriors counter, which is kind of peculiar as he's seen the numbers of eagles already. Monk just passing, old man goes down to some eagles there, and Zupamann also splits up his eagle here to maximize the damage output of his forward raids here. Look at the continuous production here as well. qwerty is still going for the crossbows, but now idling production completely here. And now adding the barracks. Okay, unfortunate for qwerty, I think this is happening a bit too late here. It's getting the barracks up. He lost his initial forward barracks here, so he can't just take man-at-arms and those kinds of things, while this one is going up either. His only means to deal with the Eagle's raids now are crossbows, and potentially a defensive castle, which he can actually afford by now. Zupamann meanwhile extends his Eagle forward with some siege push here. He's added some scorpions as well to deal with archers, among other things. But few things more annoying than eagles running around your base and harassing your eco constantly, especially when you don't have any concrete answer. Qwerty adding eagle scouts now. Probably wants them to add the eagles of his own, since he doesn't have the time to take into long swords and squires and all those things. But eagle scouts won't do anything in this matter, other than take out the siege actually. So that's also probably an idea behind this. But I still don't think committing to full archers is the play here now, even being Mayans. So lucky for Qwerty, they're actually getting the Magadal kill there, since there were lots of eagles here to deal with that eagle scout. Imperial Age also coming in for Qwerty means he could get castle up, get the Eldorado tech, or get obsidian arrows for his crossbows, and that's a castle age tech actually. So if he gets a castle up, he could go for obsidian arrows and try to take out production buildings that way. But with this critical mass of crossbows, he's at 37 crossbows now, adding defensive castle as well. And with this critical mass, he is able to two-shot the eagles here. Actually, it's almost, he is one-shotting them. So at this point, Zupamann needs to stock up on some more masses of eagle warriors before he commits to the forward here. There will be a forward castle defensively from Qwerty here as well to restrict any easy eagle raids here. Scorpion's getting some nice hits in now, so that needs to be the focus of Qwerty as he gets closer here. But has cover fire from the castle here, and doesn't look like he has obsidian arrows yet. Yeah, he's taking into it right now. So he really wants to make good use of his crossbows here, but there's a hidden Magnolel on the field, camouflaged in between the grey buildings here. Arbalest and obsidian arrows is in for Qwerty here. I think he should consider adding more, even more archers as well. He has 2 ranges after all, and he's not producing from them. Maybe saving up for attacks here. He's getting brazen chemistry as well. Actually takes a little fight before Arbalest here, but still under cover from his castle, so he should be okay here. But now some villagers going maybe to the other pond for Zupamann here, or no, it's going to be a sneak eagle raid from the top side here. So nice choice of Zupamann to commit to raiding from a different angle now that the castle up up on this side. This side here is still pretty unprotected. He has been here before scouting, so he knows that. But the Arbalesters are doing decent work here. Look at how quickly these wooden buildings go down here to Arbalest fire. That has to do a little bit with the hill bonus as well, but with this massive Arbalest you could one-shot eagles. Still, considering that Qwerty gets Eldorado and his opponent still isn't Imperial Age, although on the way up, I would also consider adding eagles and getting the Eldorado upgrade for HP on the eagles, because then he would simply have better eagle warriors than his opponent. But eco largely set up for archers play here, of course. Lots of wood and generally floating lots of resources here. Could have easily afforded more production buildings, more production overall here, I think. This is of course Zupamann's eco. It's not pop cap, no. But producing from 3 barracks, of course, lost some production capabilities here, so that plays a part in it as well. Let's have a look at Qwerty's eco for a moment. Set up for wood and gold here, so still committing to the Archer's Blade, not overly committed on food here. There's the Imperial Age for Zupamann as well. Bringing some villagers forward here. Is going to drop a forward castle, or what's the play here? Doesn't really seem to worry too much about our list for the moment. Is he taking Elite Eagles somewhere? No. Sticking to Eagle Warriors for now. But forward villagers, okay, they're going to the gold, so no castle here anyways. What happened to the stone? Did you just sell it or drop TCs or... I don't understand. Another defensive castle coming from qwerty here. He has seen some eagle raids coming from this direction as well. Probably suspect something is in that area. Meanwhile, more and more villagers being sent to build further forward production for Zupamann here. He's also desperately trying to get his opponent housed here by banging at the neutral houses that qwerty put on the neutral ground here. qwerty with a significant score lead here though. Slight population lead, now adding forward siege as well. That goes almost, could have gone straight down to a Mangalar shot there, but he saves it building this way. And is breaking further to Zupamann's base here, while Zupamann is extending the army production on this side and is still floating resources, although a bit low on gold here in the midst of everything being made here. I don't think a Mangonel is enough either to deal with this mass of Arbalesters, so needs his masses of eagles, but losing production like this quickly to Arbalaster fire is no joke when you're playing against mines. Gets a nice Mangonel shot in here though, but will die to Arbalesters again. Actually, another hit, but now the Trebs on the field taking out TCs here. Arbalesters roaming, they will have to turn back very soon here. Actually goes for some villager kills. Doesn't even know that he's under a castle fire here. Yeah, look at all the rams coming forward for qwerty here. Is have to say, he's defended nicely at home with the defensive castle first on this hill and then on the other hill as well, protecting so much of his home eco here. And we have to again mention the map gen that so many of the neutral golds or map were on, in fact, qwerty's side. There were literally just 2 golds for Zupamann here and there, and then he would have to migrate so far to get to the golds here. So a horrible map for Zupamann in that sense. But not really worthy of a re for him either, I guess, because you don't really gather that much map intel about golds and neutral resources early enough to call the re, right? So I can see why they just played on here. Rams and a Treb firing away at Zupamann's castle here now. I think Zupamann will save it still. He's made some Jaguar warriors from inside the castle and is dealing with the siege in that way. Also lost the Treb down here, but looking at the score is still pretty far behind here. 172, 114 KD for qwerty here, who is also floating a healthy amount of resources. Could drop a very forward castle or drop a castle on this side to restrict forward production of Zupamann here. Yeah, he's dropping a defensive castle here on the hill again, which is temporarily denied by eagles here though. And both players keeping pretty similar military numbers here, but I think Zupamann really needs his eagle warriors at home rather than trying to raid forward now, because if he doesn't deal with this forward here, he will be in big trouble with his main base, with TCs going down and eco having to be redistributed. I think this defensive castle will finally go up, as the eagles are more focused on this side at this moment. But it looks like Zupamann is struggling a bit more for production here now. He's running very low on food, almost no food gatherers at all. Still pretty heavy on the gold here and almost enough stone for another castle, but where does that go? Food-wise, docking here is still an option for Zupamann, of course, so you could get some food income boosts that way. And qwerty is still free fish boom on this side, so the water was never really contested after the initial water fight. So lots of idols for Zupamann at this point. They are spread all across the map here, but now dropping a castle on this hill, so wants to deny any easy access to his forward production buildings here. But military numbers now looking grim for Zupamann here as the forward castle goes up for qwerty with a 3000 score lead here. It's 40 to 50 military, actually committing to the crossbows and arbalest line has worked out for him, but it's more a matter of mass than of unit composition here, because he really should have had an answer to eagles during the first couple of eagle raids in his base. But defensive castles did the trick that restricts eagles raids quite a bit. And he was free to take obsidian arrows and use his arbalesters forward here. Forward castle, incredibly enough, doesn't get denied here. One villager left building it and finishes it up. Now 3 traps on the field ready to deal with this defensive castle. Zupamann has expanders, dropping a new TC. Yes, what's the... yeah, it actually doesn't have enough intel on the map to know about these neutral golds, which would have been an option. 2 relics for Zupamann, I believe it should be more or less the same for qwerty. 3 relics actually, 2 for qwerty. So no significant relic advantage either for the Axe player here. With 4 trebs against 1 here now, that should be a lost cause. And army production more extensive for qwerty, keeping his 3 arbalest production from at least 3 ranges here. So even more barracks going up for Zupamann, is plotting lots of wood here, but very little food, so he really desperately needs more farms here to sustain eagles production, even though they are not very food heavy, they cost food. Now a 5000 score difference here now, and arbalest on both sides for qwerty here now. Has a trap from Zupamann firing up the hill here on this castle without qwerty really reacting to it, though. I don't think it feels particularly threatened by it right now. Send some repairs in now, maybe he will queue a trap of his own as well. There it is. But then it will be 1 trap against 2, but he will have the hill advantage if he can keep this castle up for long enough. I think he needs to commit even more repairers for this to work. But meanwhile he's extending his trap and arm push on this side, taking out barracks and units production capabilities yet again. Villager count's pretty similar for the 2 players, but military much higher for qwerty overall here. He's actually idling his ramps in the back here, they could go forward and deal with some production or other kinds of stuff as well. Monster will go down here, that means even less extra gold income for Zupamann here. Does look like this castle will go down though, that frees up the space for some Eagle Warrior raids again on this side. That's it, 3 traps, no joke dealing with. Imagine if qwerty had a couple of Eagle Warriors of his own, he could just run underneath the castle and easily take out these traps. But then again, he's committed to his forward now, dropping a TC on his opponent's wood line here, and using traps to take out production and houses and whatnot here. It's a slow but steady push as Zupamann is expanding further north. qwerty has Eagle Warriors of his own, no Eldorado actually, so they have the same HP here. Well, is in the risk of losing another castle here, but just queuing some villagers to repair here I think, but here are some Eagle raids from Zupamann as well. Hi, Next Gen Fox. I'm fine, thanks. We have a grand final on the menu today with casting Necropolis Grail Adept Division Final. Significant number of military for Zupamann back now. It's 36 to 39 military. That's mainly elite Eagle Warriors. Something that qwerty could potentially commit to himself, not with the eco to support it right now though. He is looking at the production here. Zupamann is incredible enough making a comeback in this game. I think he's expanded further north as he lost his main base down here. He is farming a lot and setting up his eco for yet again doing the Eagle Warrior raids. And now he's scouted these golds as well, so he knows there are neutral golds to go for, sends Monk for some relic income here. Now drops a forward castle on the hill here as well, so he's going to take qwerty off gold here. Is this going to be a comeback by Zupamann here? It looked like qwerty had the game in his pocket for a while there, considering that Zupamann lost his whole base at home, but he expanded, he reboomed, and he still has the production capabilities in the middle there. So it's 45 military on the field now for Zupamann. He's actually the military and population lead now. qwerty is down to 92 and will be losing his home base where he doesn't really have any golds or significant resources back to take. He's pulled his arbalisters all the way back. Is this a lacking of scouting from qwerty here? No, he should... well, this could be a spec bug actually. So he might be a bit lacking of scouting from qwerty here not to see the actual expansion of Zupamann here. I mean, when you see this kind of army numbers flowing and that your opponent is still producing, you need to scout and see if they have reboomed and extended to somewhere else, right? See, mill. Which mill? I see. You mean he sees the mill, maybe? Oh well. So qwerty's eco is in shambles now. He has... well, he's either deleted his fish from pop space or he's simply lost them somehow. Eagle Warriors, Elite Eagles from the Aztecs player. Still no unique tech though, no Golem Wars for Zupamann here. That would help out even more, but considering the pressure he's been under, I can see why he didn't commit to that. qwerty with nice micro here, using the hill advantage to deal with the Eagles raiding here. It might not be enough, but at least he's getting some kills off, but Zupamann again is of course replenishing and pulling further and further back here. That's alright, so Eagle Warriors on the field from Lions players again. He doesn't have the unique tech either, and he's only +1 against the +2 here, so he has more... Zupamann has more attack on his Eagles, while their defense upgrades are... yeah, there's more defense for Zupamann as well. So generally higher upgrades on the Eagle Warriors, but both players have unique techs that benefit their Eagles. For the Aztecs player it's attack, and for the Mayans player it's extra HP, so that would be something to consider if it comes to an eagle fight like this. But Zupamann losing raiding numbers again here, but he still has the military lead with 39 to 23 here. He has double the population as well, so this is an incredible reboom going on over on this side. So qwerty should really consider going for some raids on this side, and the score has caught up here to being pretty similar between the two players. Looks like the traps here will go down for Zupamann, but he still does some damage on the castle, means repairs for qwerty, who will be starved for resources soon, considering he's only at 42 villagers and floating extreme amounts of wood without a market to be able to balance that, so he could consider dropping a market just to make army production more easily here. His arbalest numbers are decaying as well. Now it's 47 to 18 military here for Zupamann, who has turned this whole game around there. Very patient play with the counterattacks and rebooming from Zupamann here. Although he did lose his whole initial base on this side. Yeah, so more eagles brought into the mix. Don't really care too much about the cast and fire even anymore. No murder rolls here to help out. Could take out these traps as well, but qwerty calls the GG here. Incredible. So much back and forth this game, and Zupamann takes the win in the end. I think it all comes down to two things specifically. That qwerty he did lose his initial scout, so his early initial forward didn't work out too well with some more scouting. That's what laming can do to you, by the way. That's karma for laming. You lose your initial scout and then you don't know nothing about the map. And also later in the game that he didn't address this reboom of Zupamann here. At some one point, Zupamann was in a with a really bad food count in the when thinking about constant eagles production. But he reboomed in this side and wasn't really raided by qwerty, who was pushing for this side with Arbalesters. He could have kept pushing. His Arbalesters would probably outrange the TC and he could take out the buildings with obsidian arrows. So Zupamann got his eco back up and running again, used his middle here to produce army and raid on this side and take out castles with trebs as well. Abusing the fact that qwerty went for a less mobile army more or less the whole game here. Anyway, brings the score to 1-0 and we will be seeing qwerty's home map next. Not to be a downer, this was the best game of the finals in my opinion. Okay, so great first game then. We'll just have to take that as it goes. KD 401 to 316, and that's what eagle raids can do to you. Artist army is pretty close here. Then more buildings raised for qwerty, who had the arbalests with obsidian arrows. See from the setup here, wood and gold. Actually, not so much gold collected for qwerty, more gold for Zupamann who went for the eagles, but wood, most wood for qwerty, who was playing mainly archers here. Alright, let's bring up the next one. Hold on. So for game 2 we have Teutoburg, which is qwerty's home map. So this is the infamous map where you don't start with a starting scout. So you're forced to use your sheep for scouting in the early game, which can be kind of unsettling. It's on fast speed, so lots of things to attend to at a quicker pace. And if you don't scout properly with your sheep and everything, you will not know where to wall. So in my opinion, this map is very suitable for scouts openings, because it's quite likely, considering the woodline setup, that you will find an opening in time if you get your scouts out early. Then again, what talks against going for the scouts opening is the fact that you need to scout your opening resources with sheep only. So if you don't find your boars in time, looks like qwerty finds this now, you are basically pretty much screwed in the early game, because you really need that food income. Otherwise you'll need to transition to farms real early or take the spread out hunt like this, which you can't push because you don't have a scout. Anyway, 4 sheep in the back here for qwerty. I hope he gets lucky and finds them. At least he found a boar here, so he should be quite fine. Zupamann also using a villager to scout here. What I've seen some players do is dropping in barracks as well and getting a militia out early on just for scouting purposes. So it's actually dropping, it's not so much for scouting, actually it was simply dropping one on the wood line here, and that's, since the edge of the map is here, knows this wood line is in the back, probably quite easily protected here with just a couple of walls here and there. Of course, there's always an argument for playing archers on the map here, because the woodlands are rather narrow, so you would always be reachable by archers. I screwed draft here, so needed to use Magyars here. Ah, okay. Yeah, but Magyars, I mean, why not, right? On I don't know your opening right yet, Zupamann, but considering how tough it can be to spot all the places to wall here, if you take an early advantage, Magyars would be great because they have these free attack upgrades, free melee attack upgrades for each age. Incas were free to take. Ah, okay. Incas would work as well, of course. You could tower every woodline without any trouble. If you scout the stone, that is. Yeah, looks like both players have found at least. Yeah, Zupamann actually hasn't found the second board, so that's going to hurt a little bit. Considering his Magyars that don't have an eco bonus as well, or maybe he knows it's up here and he's going for it right now. They could have run just further into the fog of war here. Ah, turning back. Nothing to see here. Or... yeah, that's one of the downsides of this map. You don't have a scout, you need to commit maybe even villagers to scouting, and no food income whatsoever for Zupamann right now with the garrisons, the villagers to get or drops off the food from the boar, and has committed to wood already. Also looks like he's missing 2 sheep as well, so that's hurtful indeed. Should maybe consider to go for the berries. Yeah, goes. How many on berries now? Alright, 5 on berries. And very forward barracks here. The spawns tends to be on the opposite sides here. You're missing 4 sheeps. Ah, they're here as well. Ay, ay, ay. Nightmare start. But here's an angry housewife forward here, making life difficult for Kurt here. Of course, he could only just fight back with the villagers, but it's still idle time for him. Zupamann with the food struggle, of course, slightly behind the villager production here. Completely idle now, as a matter of fact. But is committing to some farms already and will have the food income going for him. That smells of a later uptime for him, I think. Meanwhile, we had qwerty playing as humans here. He probably has a plan for that. To humans, very mobile save. Could go for the 2 TC boom in feudal age, but he's already at 20 pop, so I don't think he would be aiming for that early uptime here. Although he is committing heavily to food. But I think the play for humans here could be still to be going scouts, because they are so mobile after all, and you will be using cav later on anyway. Yeah, lots of idle time cost on the berries here from Zupamann, with 2 militia forward here now doing work. He has a villager forward here for some reason as well. So considering just going to wonder if it's considering a tower, or it is simply going to lame this stone and get some walls up and restrict these resources of his opponent. Yeah, first game was nice. Crazy comeback, I would say. So qwerty moving forward with some villagers now. But it's going after feudal, so you might be looking for a place to drop the second TC, and but there are wolves. Are there wolves on this map as well? Yeah, there are definitely wolves. But now he's dropping a barracks. Now why would he go so forward dropping the barracks? That would be for a militia play then, I guess, but he's probably just dropping it here so he can drop the stables as well and then go forward. From the looks of it, this has to be a scout's play. Yeah, there we go. Let's have a look at Zupamann's eco. It's at with 13 on food now, still committing to the Dark Age here. Not really commencing any wall off either, so he will be vulnerable to scouts here. He thinks I am up. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Well, good thing qwerty is Cubans, you could just drop a TC on this golden feudalage and have some nice wood and gold access on this side far away from his initial base without Zupamann knowing anything about it. Don't know if that's the play though, but scouts, or stable is up anyway, and a couple of scouts in the queue as well, and the spear. What he doesn't know though is that his resources are about to be lamed from being taken here. This stone isn't completely lame, but bad enough anyway, will be very inefficient. And this weak villager, this hero man over here, is just browsing around, gathering some scouting intel here. Scouts for qwerty surely must know that his opponent is around here somewhere. That's it. Just scouting for now, sees the board not taken. It probably gives him some information that his opponent is, in fact, potentially behind in the eco. Where are his other scouts though? Yeah, he's bringing them home maybe to find the laming villager over here. It looks like Zupamann might be able to save it for now. Should be still open on this side. Anyway, more scouts going forward here. Not really using them offensively here though. It's still Dark Age for Zupamann, means no spears on the field. This is the moment where you should really make use of your scouts. Yeah, deals with the forward villager, now goes to this goal. That's not lane just yet. 4 scouts for now, as Zupamann is about to reach the next age with a villager count of 29. So he's behind the villagers, but that's of course because he's been researching the next age as well, and he's not all that far away from the cast age trick after all. Stable foundation gets blocked for Zupamann here, so no scouts for him just yet. Now qwerty should be attacking this foundation before it goes down, but Zupamann deletes it. But there are now, what is it, 6 scouts on the field for qwerty here, getting some villager kills here. And alright, there's another stable for Zupamann down here. But his barracks is all the way forward, remember, so you can't really send the spearman back home easily. So this is going to be annoying like hell to deal with these 4 scouts here. Zupamann at 26 versus 34 builders here. He's really behind in villager count as qwerty is dropping his feudal TC here only with 4 villagers though, so that's going to take him a long while to get this foundation completed. But his villager count should be spiking up even more until his opponent can reach the next stage. Zupamann actually getting closer with his now 11 farms going to stone as well. And some preemptive walling on the gold here, but will still lose a weak villager. Wait, there are 2 villagers here? No, 1 villager. Looked like it was weak for some reason. That was maybe the other one. Hey, Crazy Joe, you're playing on the Amazon zone as well? Nice. I did have a long period of not playing though. I played on zone from 2002 to 2004, and then I basically quit and did other kinds of other things next for a ball. And yeah, the last year I got back to the game, realizing it was still had a living online community. So I think it's awesome that we now have a definitive edition to play. But I was a lurker in the AOK 2.0 version playing Black Forest and Arabia mainly. So scouts still forward, causing trouble here. It's 3 military for Zupamann. I suspect that's yeah, that's his spearman. Brought all the way home here. He's falling very much behind in all senses here though, and slightly less military with that spearman. They can deal with the scouts, of course. So 5 versus 3 in military, but population 47 to 28. Yeah, I think it's going to be a lot tougher for Zupamann to get back in this game, but you never know. Losing villagers left and right here. Eco doesn't look like it's going to be very helpful for him once he reaches the next age. And remember, qwerty has 2 TCs working for him now. He's producing out of both as well. So his castle age is going to be later. Never say never. Shh, spoilers. We'll see. Game's not over until the GG. I'd say qwerty has had a good value of his scouts though, still looking for places to hit. He's found the stones now. He is not quite engaging. Oh, here are the spears. They also get the free attack upgrade. Forging for free from Magyars here, so qwerty for sure needs to bail here, but it done some serious damage. It's 44 to 23 villagers now. Yeah, so castle age about to kick in for Zupamann here. It's 185 to, yeah, some getting some upgrades and getting horse collar and forging. So wants to engage. Yes, it's producing army right away. One knight is out, but qwerty also almost 50% up now. Dropping another stable. See at qwerty's, he's floating quite a bit of gold now because he has the TC on the neutral gold here working for him. Zupamann is still making use of his foreign villager here though, that, or is it a new one? This is full health, so this has to be this probably a new one. Anyway, dropping a tower on the wood line, making it a bit more awkward for qwerty to take wood here. Also has a knight out at home now with +2 attack, of course, you get that for free with Magyars. But the score must be discouraging for sure. It's 47 to 20 villagers now. So such a massive villager lead for qwerty going up to the next stage here. New one, yeah, so it was a new forward villager. Let's see. qwerty has Silver Knight, so he immediately mixes in camels to his army. I like that. Also again, getting some scouting intel on the map. Zupamann might be able to harass this TC Foundation a little bit, but he won't stop it from going up. Siege workshop for qwerty now. Okay, so that means to deal with the walling resources here maybe. I don't quite understand this one as he's seeing knights on and spears on the field. But maybe he just wants to clean up the palisades here and the tower as well with the mangonel or rams or whatever. So the population is 61 to 27 here between the players. It's also more army for qwerty, who has... Well, he has not caught up on the upgrades because Magyars get the attack upgrade for free. You see the 10+2, but both have +2 defense, and there are cavalry in the mix for qwerty as well. So with considering that qwerty has so much more army, he should be able to take favorable engagements easily here still. Well, get that one Akkal-AOE. There's a bug with game category. You can choose Age of Kings for now. What do you mean? Is that on Google or on DE, Ogedei? Oh. Looks like qwerty is losing his mangonel at home here. Send some camels in. No, he has another mangonel in queue. He really wants this tower down. So, Bit of questionable priorities here. This isn't really doing too much. On Twitch, okay. I see. Yeah, just so it shows that you're streaming the game, I see, yeah. Alright, but the GG is called. Zupamann falls too much behind here, 61 to 29 villagers in the end, also results in, of course, the army being much larger for qwerty as well, who has a larger eco working for him. With some nice raids going on all the way from the back from the scouts here. Let's have a look at the if you have bids, they won't show up if looked for. Yeah, okay. I'm just gonna browse quickly through the stats here, and then I think I'm going to add Age of Kings to the game shown just for in case people are watching Age of Empires tonight and see it by chance. So that brings the score to 1-1. Just get me a moment to switch the title of the game in Twitch as well, and we'll move on to the next one. Alright, looks like the next game will be on Zupamann's first home map, and that's Baltic. So we're going to game 3, guys. Still between qwerty and Zupamann here. It's the Necropolis Grail Adept division final. It's a best of 7. And this is Zupamann's first home map, losing the previous game, and he's picked Baltic. I see he's chosen Malians for a civ here. That's a nice civ for hybrid maps like this. Considering that all your buildings cost less wood, it's much easier to get the dock up. He could, in fact, drop the dock right away now if he wanted to, and just get that fish eco going very early on. Meanwhile, we see qwerty is picked Franks for this one. Not the most obvious pick for hybrid maps, I would say, but I mean, if he could take land controls somehow, he would have a nice mobile land sim to work for him, but I still favor Malians in this one, especially considering that they have camels to counter Frank Knights and yeah, you know, Farim by the privilege for the unique tech from Malians that gives their cavalry even more attack. He drafted Italians and he didn't use it for this map, really. That's kind of interesting. So anyway, let's... okay, I don't play a lot of Baltic, but are the resources usually spawning like this? Because now it looks like all of the resources are on the right-hand side of the map, pretty close to the players. And then there's only wood on the side to be fought for on the left-hand side here, and right-hand for that matter. Oh, there's a draft link. Let me simply add that as a command. Baltic, anyway, huge area of water in the middle here, so there will or should be water fighting. Here comes the first dock for Zupamann, while qwerty is not committing to the dock just yet. He's actually only with 4 wood as well. Does he want to go for a scouts opening here? Is that the play? We'll see. You surprised me with picking Sim for maps. Yeah, I'm sure you didn't expect Franks on this map. So, pretty even villager counts here now, but considering there is no dock for qwerty, I suspect to see Zupamann's villager count spiking up here once he gets the fishing ships going for him. He's only on 5 wood himself, but we'll probably be adding more soon enough, and the first fishing ship already out. So where's this guy going? Going to drop a dock, maybe? Where are you going, young man? This is interesting. It's going to be a sneak villager here. Does he want to wall off this section and then sneak in and try to get some forward in? The scout is over here as well. Yet he still hasn't found his enemy, so it's kind of peculiar to sneak around the long way around here when it would have been so much shorter this way. But also, of course, works better as a sneak going the whole way around. There's not too much to hit on land here though. On Zupamann, it's the wood line obviously, but the rest of the eco is under TC for now. Still no dock for qwerty here. So no dock. Going up to the field edge with 21 pop goes straight for the scouts rush here, I believe. Could be efficient, but then again, it's limited to how much damage you will do, considering most of the eco here is under TC. This woodland is easily quick walled. And even drops the barracks forward here. I think that's a mistake considering this. You'd want to have some kind of barracks at home for later on. You might as well just drop it at home. Unless you want to, unless his plan isn't scouts after all and he wants to go for some infantry style action or supply with some pikes on his own, but still pretty far away from his opponent though, so at the very least Zupamann won't see this coming easily. He only sees the scout here for now. Or did he follow this villager on this side? Could be. Could be. Second dock for Zupamann. Let's see if Zupamann has done any... Alright, so he scouted the shoreline with the scout here, so he's... didn't see any docks right then. He will probably go out to scout a little bit again just to make sure there still aren't any docks here. And if there aren't any docks... If there aren't any docks for his opponent, then there's nothing for Zupamann to fight on water. He gets the fish boom for free, and that's huge on this map. So here's a stable being dropped, pretty much closer to Zupamann here. Certainly a surprise attack from qwerty here, but is it going to be enough? I mean, scouts are, after all, they are easily fought off by villagers or spearmen. No army buildings for Zupamann though, but he has the eco to rush up a barracks if he needs to. So once he sees the scouts coming in, I'm sure he'll react by some kind of land army for the defensive measures. Ha! Forward villager for Zupamann as well, just passing here. That's a sneak that got noticed by qwerty here, but with bringing in the scout, might be able to win this fight after all. But maybe not to save the forward villager. Meanwhile, qwerty is making some armies, so 3 military now, 1 scout. Versus, he's actually trying to bring his weak scout all the way over here. I don't think that's gonna work for him. So now 2 scouts ready to engage. I think if this is the play by qwerty, he should still be patient and wait for even more scouts before he engages the sneak. But Zupamann has noticed something is up here now, and drops his barracks. Interesting fighting to see here. Villager against scout. I think Zupamann could lose his scout here as well. But he's pulling away. He has a fiery galleys on the shoreline. So this is very cheap map control measures for Zupamann here to be able to take water for free on this map, which is, after all, his home map. His barracks at home gets denied, though, by qwerty's for scouts here, so won't be any spearmen on the field for Zupamann just yet, as he drops another barracks near the woodline. So preemptively waltz this woodland here now, so as not to let the scouts in there. Still commits to water play, and this surprised me, these 5 ships at this stage. I mean, your opponent doesn't even have a dock, so you really don't really need that kind of water, unless you want to cover the whole shorelines everywhere just to make sure no docking is happening. But in my opinion, it looks like kind of an overcommitment on water here for Zupamann, even considering that he's under attack slightly on land here, but he has the barracks up as well, of course, so should be able to deal with that in the end. Not too much exposed eco here, could probably quick wall the gold somewhat easily as well. But to have six ships out at this this stage when he has scouted, alright, missing a little bit of scouting until there could of course be that there's a Frank stock here. But I'm pretty sure Zupamann knows by now that his opponent isn't on water, so any further army isn't being added either, at least not for now. I'm also surprised to see qwerty not committing more to his forward here, because he's not barely producing at all. Could be saving up, not investing too much into the scouts to get to the cast stage quicker, but he's not on water, so he is also falling behind in that regard. Just look at the villager count, it's 34 to 31, and even however many villagers qwerty kills on land here, there will still be food eco on water for Zupamann, which will allow him to either market abuse to sell food for gold later, or simply to more easily reproduce villagers without any idle time, because he has the constant food income on water. Spears actually, the scouts actually running straight under the TC now, because there's nothing into garrison inside there. But I'd love to see qwerty more active with his scouts still. He's probably looking for single villagers to snipe here. So it looks like he's setting up his eco for knights here, because he's committing pretty heavily to the farms. Still not on water, which kind of shocks me on a map like Baltic, but he's playing it like a pure land map, so should this go to the later stages and even Imperial Age, having water control by then is just something that will probably win the water controlling player the game still. Unless qwerty can do enough damage with his little forward here. His forward villager is still alive as well, so it could be able to drop more defensive structures. Zupamann, meanwhile, as is going over here to wall now, I believe it is villager, so that was not the sneak villager on this side. Earlier on, it was simply the villager pathing leading him all the way to his opponent's base rather than going on this side to wall, because these foundations have been there for a while. So it's dock number 4 going up for Zupamann now. It's quite a significant amount of fishing ships by now. It's 10 fish, I think. So that's a lot of free food income there, not being contested by his opponent. Also patrolling the shorelines here, so it's not going to be easy for qwerty to simply drop the dock and get going here. Gets a villager kill though, so that's something. Might get another one. No, backs off. But there's Castlage, as expected for qwerty, will be going into Knight's production now. So, but Castlage will be kicking in for Zupamann as well. He could easily afford the pikeman upgrade once he gets to the next stage, because he's still on gold and he is floating lots of food from the water, wood income as well. Should not be a problem for Zupamann to go straight into some pikes on land and fend off any knights coming forward. So I think qwerty needs something more than that. But now actually a forward on land from Zupamann as well, dropping stables, taking bloodlines. Looking at their setups, there's more on gold for qwerty, so that should suggest an easier way to sustain Knight's protection. But he has a dock up somewhere as well. Forward dock, fascinating. Zupamann sees it though, so qwerty won't get away with this. Has one dock against 4 and lots of army on field already for Zupamann, so should be no problem at all for Zupamann to fend off this aggression from this dock on water. And well, forward villager is still alive. Looks like there won't be any wall off just yet for Zupamann here, but he did manage to get the production buildings down here. Something that qwerty should be seeing now, being so close to the camels going out. Yes, indeed, he sees the production. Will he add some production at home to deal with this then? He is dropping TCs for now. That's also, of course, a decent defensive measure. But here are some pikes forward from Zupamann. Meanwhile, he's being raided a bit by knights and scouts in his own base, Zupamann, so nice multitasking here, being both forward and defending at defending at home at the same time with some pikes here. So has some awareness of what's going on, but he really should be trying to scout the sneak as well, just to make sure no more forward buildings are being dropped. He already controls the water, so a landing should be out of the question for his opponent. Meanwhile, qwerty is dropping a barracks to convert the camels of Zupamann, now roaming around his base. And camels, as we know, weak to arrow fire, so not the best raiding units around TC fire. Walls didn't complete on this side, but Zupamann has some army and buildings presence here now, so he will at least see if something is coming in this direction. Little bit surprised to see Zupamann with his water control already and his army presence on water not to engage this dock as it went up. Now having allowed the Franks player to get to 4 ships already. But finally the forward villager of qwerty gets scouted. That means no more forward production for qwerty here. And he will have to stick with his one stable here, which Zupamann now knows exactly where it is. That's not going to be enough to sustain forward here. I think qwerty should not engage here until he attacks War Galley himself. Yeah, but he has very limited scouting intel on water though, so he doesn't really know the extent of Superman's army on water. But look at this count here, it's 5 ships against 4. I thought it was more actually, but it's still 1 more ship for Superman, and he will lose some fish now, but if he tasks his own army on water or simply produces some more of his own, he should be winning the water engagements easily still. There's only 1 dock here, so should be no problem whatsoever for Superman to keep his water control here. War Galley coming in for qwerty first here though, so until Superman can get his numbers advantage here, it's definitely going to play into qwerty's favor, these fights here. Get some pickoffs. Let's look at the ships count here for a moment. It's 4 to 2 ships now, so qwerty, fascinatingly enough, is now in the army lead on water for now, but look at the production from Superman out of 4 docks here. He's going to catch up easily here. Will be missing War Galley himself though, so he'll be up against War Galleys here with his own fire galleys, so that's bad news for Superman until he takes it himself. Lots of things to think about now though. He's dropping his 4th TC and chasing some knights in his home base here, and meanwhile I think he had some raids going on here earlier. Yeah, some camels punching away and forward barracks going down now. But still losing engagements on water again. It's 4 against 4, 4 against 3 now, so qwerty taking nice fights on water now. Superman seems confident he still could hold water easily though, and now he's releases 3 ships, and he's with a 7 to 4 ships lead here. All ships of qwerty are weakened as well, so Zupamann should have this after all. An engagement that could potentially have been avoided though if he'd taken out this dock earlier. Now some converted camels here, so nice defensive awareness to qwerty here. Franks with the cheaper castles as well, allows for a perfect castle here to protect all 3 gold spots on land here for qwerty. qwerty, surprisingly enough, also with the villager lead here, even considering all of Superman's villagers here, so much more land boom for qwerty, who's only slightly behind his score overall, but he's falling behind in military. It's Zupamann with 14 military now against 6 of qwerty, but much of that being on water. Yeah, cast goes out, puts a temporary stopper to the forward of Zupamann here, who has siege workshop and barracks and almost a finished monastery going up here. The forward building of qwerty here will probably go down to this pike in the end, so not really any forward extension for qwerty now. He's kind of forced on the back foot in his home base, playing the defensive now, but in exchange he has gotten some docks up of his own. He has 2 docks now on his own side and 1 at his enemy's side. He might be trying to lure Superman's fire galleys into a trap now, because there are 7 war or fire ships waiting in qwerty's side here now. Zupamann still didn't take War Galley either. I might need to think about these upgrades very soon as he sees this army. Very much gold in the bank for Zupamann right now, and he's not really spending too much on production for a moment, mainly booming here, getting the heavy plow upgrade for his farmers. But have the farms being more efficient. He did lose some water control after all, so the fishing eco isn't nearly as good as it was, and now with 11 fire ships taking out his docks, I think Zupamann is not being put on a back foot here against quite a significant army on water. It's 11 ships to 4 for qwerty all of a sudden, who was allowed to get up docks at home with this little forward dock here, causing Zupamann's attention to waver a bit in his forward patrolling on his opponent's shoreline. So now full water control for qwerty all of a sudden is 11-0 ships. Zupamann seems to have bailed on water a little now, as qwerty is taking into the Imperial Age. Defensive castle doing wonders here for him, completely protecting all 3 golds while he's dealing with the forward building. So Zupamann here is 1 mangonel garrison inside here. Would be decent against throwing Axemen if he could get some hits in, but only weakened stem doesn't kill a single one. So forward will be lost here, but meanwhile dropping quite a few more stables here. Could mean some light cab raids to come for Zupamann or something like that. He's still floating a lot of gold, which he's not using. Doesn't, well, has a market, but isn't really using it too much to adjust here. Looks like, yeah, buying resources is kind of costly here, so that could be the reason. But Zupamann has now lost all his docks as qwerty is moving forward here with a heap of villagers here. Could they be looking to drop a castle on this side and then just use the castle fire to... He's taking out walls with fire ships and villagers here. It's going to take a little while to break through here. Might as well just drop why not just drop a castle here though, being franks with the cheaper castles. Then the castle will both protect entry on this side and deal with the walls. It's a huge head start for qwerty going into the Imperial Age. He's also with a villager lead, with a 10 villager lead against Zupamann. But both players floating significant amounts of resources here. Should be no problem at all for qwerty to take into the appropriate upgrades for its knights into cavaliers with attack and armor upgrades. And now that he controls water, he could even go for a landing with some transport ships and get some raids in that way, other than just breaking through on this side with siege and whatnot. I'm surprised to see qwerty not addressing the fact that Zupamann might still be having some presence of water. His fishing ships have been arguably inefficient on this side, but at least bringing in some food, right? But very, very significant food income for Zupamann here now, dropping a castle on the shoreline himself that restricts some hits from the fire ships here. Meanwhile, qwerty is getting the unique tech for his stables, I believe, chivalry. That has the Frank stables work faster, so he wants to really boost his knights soon to be cavalier production here. He's also getting chemistry, so I think he's thinking about cannon galleon if Franks even get that. I'm not too versed in the naval tech tree. Yep, breaking through here with knights and siege now. There will be castle here putting a stopper to the at least the siege, the rams pushing in here, but if qwerty can get the forward castle up on his own somewhere, he could get Trebs out and challenge this castle easily. Cavaliers, are they running all the way around or are they trying to find something to deal with on this side? I hope this is not horrible pathing, making them go all the way around. Yeah, it probably is because this section still isn't open. No significant production from qwerty here though. Is now taking Galleon actually. So he's really going for the water domination here. He's even got the resources to take into Paladin. This is amazing. But now with Light Cam raiding his side, and I believe Farimba is coming in for Zupamann here. That leaves his both his Light Cam for raiding extremely dangerous here. Look at this, 7+7 now. Should also mean that if he adds more camels at some point, the camels should have a much easier time to deal with mounted units of qwerty here. qwerty's eco in danger of being going down drastically here. Meanwhile, cavaliers are on this side. They are about to be paladins. It's still a while to go though. And he is floating resources enough to sustain production for a while longer. So qwerty could have gone straight for the raids here. I guess he wanted to limit some kind of production potential, but Malian buildings are so cheap wood-wise anyway, so I don't really see that hurting Zupamann in any significant way. Just get the Center Paladins in raid and get as many kills as you can. Looks like he's cleaned up nicely at home as well from the light cav rides, although there will be coming more running in here. But some building foundations making pathing really awkward here for the light cav. They will take some arrow shots along while going for here. Long swordsman in the mix for Zupamann as well. Will certainly help out in taking out production, and castle fire is not too much of an issue for Mali and long swordsman because they have extra pierce armor, right? So they can tackle quite a bit of castle arrow fire. Now paladins raiding Zupamann's base here. qwerty with the villager lead still, even after being subject to raids, and is 150 to 165 villagers here. 1 to 2 players. Paladins really doing work though, and Pike's not really engaging here, so that means lots of idle time and lots of dead villagers for Zupamann here. 139 to 110-ish. Lots of production going on for Zupamann still though, so he's probably floating a decent amount of resources still. He is only with 25 on food, but he's able to support production from stables and barracks easily here. But has to be really hurtful still. It's now 143 to 96 villagers here. qwerty not fishing at all, so this is all land eco for him. Now with some paladins on this side as well. Unless Zupamann adds some camels or something here, then paladins should have an easy time taking out the production here. Stopping any light cab from running further, and looks like Zupamann is in trouble sustaining production here. He is taking 2 hand swordsman now though, so he wants to try a different approach here. Looks like he's dealt decently with the paladin raids in his home base as well. Yeah, and as a fault, chemistry was teched by qwerty a while ago, and here are cannon galleons firing away at Zupamann's only defensive castle near his home base here. So castle is down. Treb might go down as well, and the cannon galleons will range at least Zupamann's barracks and a lot of his production capabilities here. The dock for Zupamann is still up. Now I believe qwerty has scouted it by now. Still hasn't passed next to it here, so that's a nice sneaky dock there from Zupamann. Cannon galleons chasing here, and villager going towards Zupamann's base. Not quite sure what the idea was here. Could be just a faulty gathering point maybe. No, doesn't look like that. Interesting. Well, there's action everywhere on the map right now. There's some paladins dealing with the production on this side. Zupamann not adding too much. This side right now has sent some pikes forward. They're already throwing axemen to deal with pikes on this side. qwerty with some defensive castle. After all, there's 3 castles at home, so he could easily add throwing axemen from there. He is with a very nice score lead here now with 13,000 to 9,000 something here now. Zupamann lost lots of the production capabilities near the shore, lost his defensive castle as well, but he is still fishing, so he has a decent food income, and he is extending his eco to the sides here as well with some builds, and as you can see, far away from the shore, so it won't be so so close to cannon galleon reach. My plan was hold with trash, went for his gold to run out. Yeah, looks like it could work. but isn't arguably committing to trash. I mean, it's not like endless supplies of wood here either, right? So could cause you to run out of wood. Yeah, I think camels with their mobility would have been a good approach from that side. I did raid with Farimba Light Cab at some point though, so he had that in, but... Yeah, looks like Cortis Paladins are doing work here now. He's with the KDO 239 to 115. And Calvin Galleons with their 13 range are able to take out lots of production land here still, taking out farms and stuff here, while the Paladins are raiding on land. Now add a little bit of siege here as well to take out the last of production for Zupamann on this side. And Zupamann though has caught up in villagers again. I believe qwerty has deleted or lost some villagers of his own to make room for more army. He has 83 army now after all, and now dropping a castle on this hill as well to stop any forward raids from Zupamann on this side. Paladins will likely stop this castle from going up, so that's non-castle that Zupamann needs to bail on. He will be losing his building villagers as well. And look at this mass of Paladins and Axemen on this side. They're just here to finish the game. Should be keeping the Axemen close though, even though the Paladins can take engagement against pikes on their own as well. Yeah, this looks like GG to me. Looking at the score, is military it's 80 to 30 something, and that's like gold heavy Paladins, of course, for qwerty, and he could potentially run out of gold, of course, but that implies that you have enough pikes to deal with these massive raids here, and looks like the Franks pick, the surprise pick of Franks for Baltic by qwerty is really paying off for him here. They have Cannon Galleon after all, so they has the opportunity to snipe buildings from water as well. And now he's dropping another castle on this side. Really doesn't want any sneaky raids going on this side. Stone wall as well. No problem for qwerty on this side. He can fully focus on the right hand side now. Zupamann with lots of stone and gold. Not so much food though. He is migrating, adding some barracks on this side. Wants to relocate yet again and maybe get thesis up. I don't know. Yeah, it's a significant amount of golden stone here not being used at the moment. But now we'll look at get out of my game castle from qwerty here. Forward castle from the Franks. He probably is still floating stone as well. Yeah, 1200 stone. Look at this resource in the bank for qwerty. He is soon to be pop capped and he has the means to sustain production forever here now. Lost Baltic in last 3 rounds, started turning as my home map. Well, you know. You did pick Sid good for hybrid maps, so... Anyway, the GG was called, brings it to 2-1 for qwerty here, and we'll be seeing another of Zupamann's home maps. KD 451 to 151 in the end, and buildings raised, so pretty crazy stats to look at. Oh, is it arena time? Zupamann likes his closed maps like arena and hideout, so we'll see what comes next here. I'm just going to hide the fact since not everyone knows how the set ended after all. So we're going to game 4. It's Zupamann's home map. It's Arena. Thanks for tuning in, Crazy Joe. Enjoy your painting. Alright, we're live with game 4 here, or it's not live, it's casting from recorded games, but at least the stream is live. So we have an arena matchup on our hands here. Zupamann, this is his home map, he's picked Teutons for the occasion. I'd say they're a strong arena save, they have a fantastic boom with their cheaper farms. Their farms cost 40% less, so that's basically just above 30 wood, 34 wood or whatever for a farm. Very cheap farms, and extra melee armor for the units, plus 1 melee armor in castle, plus 1 extra melee armor in Imperial Age. So even though they are kind of slow, lacking a bit of mobility, the Teutons melee units can be real deadly later on. And he's up against Hans. And pick you don't see 36 wood for farms, okay, yeah. And then it's up against Hunts. That's a save you don't frequently see picked for Arena. So, interesting pick from qwerty here. Of course, they have great cav archers, but there aren't any hills on Arena, so there's actually not really any opportunity for cav archers here. And yeah, cavalry, they have get paladins as well, but let's say maybe some of the advantages for Huns is they don't need houses, so you never need to worry about getting a house, but they do start with less wood as a result of that, so of course they save wood during the game, not having to build houses, but it's also a setback not having that 100 wood didn't start. Neyman, I'm not sure yet, we'll have to... I probably will stream them, I just didn't decide when just yet. I don't think it will be today, but we'll be getting to it at some point. His draft was scuffed. Wow, some serious idle time for qwerty here, waiting for the boar to be brought in, and then he goes straight for a sheep here. So that's time that could be used spending in taking in resources. But of course, on a close map on Arena, you should be able to do your fast cast build undisturbed, and we won't really be seeing any setbacks in terms of idle times and stuff here. I think we're just gonna fast forward a little bit because I don't really know what to talk about early on in this game. So out of these two civs, Huns get siege ram, Teutons only get capped ram, but then again Teutons have a unique tech that gives their siege extra armor, so their siege will be more tanky overall. And they have just, yeah, so good infantry and much better infantry than Huns, of course, and arguably actually better paladins as well once it gets to it, because there's not that much area to talk about on Arena for moving around, right, with the paladins, and even though the Teuton paladins are slower, there aren't really any hiding points here, like choke points to hide in or places to, so actually even the not having husbandry, I think the Teuton Teuton Knights will be able to catch up with the Huns. So Teuton Knights line stronger but slower. But Huns with the option of cavalry archers as well to deal with whatever if the Teuton players goes for some kind of infantry play. So it looks like it's going to be a 25 pop up for Zupamann. And yeah, should be able to go straight for the next age here. Might be lacking a little bit of food in time. Let's see, now he could 2 villagers, so this should be okay, I think. He has 4 on berries, 4 on farms, some on sheep for food. Meanwhile, the Hans player is going the more classic 28 pop up to feudal, so it's going to be actually 29, so it might be 30 or 31 pop cast late then for the Hans player. Will of course giving him a better eco, arguably on the way up, but the Teutons player will be by far much earlier to the next stage and will be able to go straight to the 3 easy boom. Maybe here go for a barracks and stable for some map control and for the relics as well. But solid head start for Zupamann here to the Castle Age, considering that his opponent is just kick Castle Age. Just reach Field Age, I mean. There's the kick. So stable going up for, I guess, both players soon. No stable yet for qwerty here. He's still building the barracks. But some scouts on the field for army control here would make sense. So dropping the monastery straight away as well will for sure contest the relics here already early on. Even almost finds an opening here. Tries to lane the entrance of qwerty's base for some reason. He repelisates. Interesting. The armor. Yeah, qwerty realized that Teutons have more armor. So the scouts will win a 1-to-1 fight. Monk in production for Zupamann here. Hans player qwerty going straight for the 3 easy boom here. He has nice open area in the back here, by the way. Not great for the woodlines in the back here. They're more to the sides, but there's a back gold, something that qwerty Zupamann kind of has as well on his side. Zupamann now dropping his 3rd TC, so actually he's lagging behind on the 3 TC boom, but in exchange he already has stable and monastery up, so he is already picking the relics, not being contested at all by qwerty heroes, only 1 military on the field. So it's going to be TC number... Actually I thought qwerty was on 3 TCs already, because he's actually already also dropping his 3rd TC now, so he is the one behind him with drop production here. I was sure I saw a 3rd TC, but it could have been the market or something I mistook it for. So 3 TCs for both players, but Zupamann finishing his 3rd TC earlier, gets the villager lead here. Also army lead since he has spears and monks and a scout somewhere out on the field. Looks like qwerty will secure at least 1 relic here for himself. He's bringing a spear to protect against any scouts on the field here. Zupamann's spearman on patrol here, but will be fighting against qwerty's spear here, so this monk should be okay. He will be getting in before it could be any problem here. Now even going for the conversion here from qwerty. He's dropping the relic inside his walls, so the monk is out of danger and actually gets spearman conversion here. Should bring in the relic though and just get that eco started. It's Nice 5-3 military for qwerty because he got the Teuton Spearman here. And note that when you convert, you get the exact same stats as the unit actually has. So he gets that Spearman with the Teuton melee armor bonus armor, because the other Spearman 0-0, no upgrades, right? But converting a unit, he gets that extra armor, so a kind of interesting detail. 2-1 really counts now. Zupamann going for his third one. Might be obstructed here. Nice little touch to pull away a little bit and not run into the scouts here. I like that, taking the long way around and bringing in his own scout to protect a little bit here. Looks like Zupamann will be saving his relic. He could be going for this knight as well if his... I guess this knight is on stand ground or no attack stance or something, because he didn't really challenge that unprotected monk here. But most important thing, bring in the relic, of course. It's going to be 2 relics for both players right now, but Zupamann bringing in the third, so he will have a 1 relic lead here. Nothing too significant in that sense, actually. Not too much going on right now. There's a siege workshop going up for the Hunt player here. And some knights on the field. Knights and siege will be... So going to try and break through and get some raids in, or will they commit to more monks for monks and siege push here? You don't want a monk and siege push against Teutons, they resist conversion, so I don't think that's the play here. Both players still on 3 TCs, but quite a few more farms for qwerty here. Yes, they're both committing pretty heavily to food, or actually 40 on food for both players. Significantly less on gold for Zupamann at the moment, so Zupamann not committing too much into military just yet. It's 10-2 against military here. It almost looks like qwerty wants to... Almost looks like qwerty wants to garrison knights inside the siege tower here. I hope that's not the case. Don't tell me. Okay, I think he was actually trying to garrison knights inside the... Okay, that's kind of funny. Oh boy. Yeah, qwerty not... apparently not... Either this is the troll of the year, or qwerty is just not really a seasoned arena player who doesn't know how the siege tower works. It was nice of Zupamann to help him out though, so tell him that foot soldiers will in, and then he tries to garrison the monk, but that's not gonna work either. So you could garrison villagers or foot soldiers or archers inside the siege tower. So now he goes for the remarkable play of using the siege tower to block his enemy's entrance instead. So here comes the archery range. Will qwerty go for some crossbows now to make use of the siege tower? Looks like Zupamann is going for the infantry player. He's getting supplies, so he could get swordsman line to work here. Could be a Longsword's siege push maybe, or rather Champion's siege push. Even Teutonic Knights for that matter. Not that supplies affect them, but getting also upgrades here, even getting a husbandry and these kinds of things as well. And it's going to be QWERTY reaching Imperial Age first, but builder counts pretty similar for the two players. Could be that Zupamann has more. Yeah, it's pretty decent resources in the bank for both. A bit more for QWERTY actually. So it looks like heavy archery range commitment here for QWERTY, but it's not archers, it's cavalry archers in the making here. Certainly makes sense against pikemen here. Quite a few ranges going up. Now the cav archers will deal with the pikes, I believe. The frame delay is just horrible though, it's going to take them forever to take out pikes here. Meanwhile they annoy the builders building archery ranges here. A fourth TC has come up for Zupamann as well, and tower to protect even more neutral gold here. So taking the map control slowly but surely here as he reaches the Imperial Age. And let's now toggle Zupamann's point of view for a moment here and see what he might be up to. He has enough stone for another castle, so he could be thinking about bringing some Teutonic Knights into the mix here. He's also taking Cavalier. And the Knight with the full +2 upgrades from Castle Age upgrades here is also now taking the fortified walls, so the walls will handle even more siege pressure here. Even if this wall goes down, there's still some house foundations here and there to obstruct pathing from QWERTY here, so this shouldn't be too much of an issue from Zupamann. Cav archers see the castle going up here, but it's not going to be stopped in time. This castle will for sure be finished here. So knights are finally brought in from Zupamann this side to deal with the siege, so there's a hole in the wall now, but Zupamann immediately goes to plug it. Now with the fortified wall, which has 3000 HP and the gates even more. I was going to say that this castle wouldn't be denied, but it's actually denied at 98% here, incredibly enough. So nice work on QWERTY there to micro a little bit to get all of the builders here with his cavalry archers, and cavalry archers doing decent work against cavaliers as well, because while the Teutonic cavaliers have a great melee armor, their pierce armor are just like any other knight's line, but once Zupamann gets to paladin, it's still going to be tougher even against even for the cavalry archers here. But the outcastle indeed, but now it's up, and Zupamann secures even more territory, secures his base a bit more. Still the 3 TCs for QWERTY, and he seems somewhat content with his 120 something villagers, so won't be doing too much about that. Now dropping a barracks, is he taking pikemen? Yes, so he'll probably be going into Halden as well, because he's seen the cavaliers on the field. But there's an opening here on the wood line. Is it Zupamann? Did you actually use Trem to? No, that's the that's the villagers of QWERTY chopping wood from this wood line here, and there's an overchop. So now there's a hole in the wall. That's real bad for QWERTY here. Now it's open season for the Cavaliers to run in here and raid like crazy. While Halb is being attacked, but only 3 barracks total for QWERTY here now, so he's dropping a few more, but I don't think he'll be okay in time. Overchop, yeah, gotcha. So not the prettiest 4th TC placement there, could have been better used down here, maybe near Woodland and Golds as well. And yeah, heavy cav archers now for the Hans player, but he's fighting against a significant amount of Teuton Cavalier here. And while their pierce armor is nothing much, is still in equal numbers or more numbers as Zupamann has, Zupamann should have no trouble pushing through here and finishing off his opponent. Looks like the monster will go down for QWERTY here. That means Less gold income is losing his 2 relics. Not that he's struggling for gold right now, but he won't be getting a bonus gold. Now Halberdiers on the field though. With the armor and attack upgrades, I don't think he has the Imperial upgrades yet. He's getting the attack upgrade now. And it also is lacking a bit of numbers. It's 28 military courting now, mostly Halberdiers and some Cav Archers, but then there's 26 army for Zupamann, who is pushing with Cavaliers and Trebs with Teutons here. And hitting all sides simultaneously. Another forward castle hitting the barracks here, which makes health production from this side a bit more awkward because the castle will target the units. Now going for a neutral zone. Look at all the grey dots here with qwerty taking all of this map control here. Raiding like crazy with cavaliers, dodging the halberdiers to some extent here. And probably has a fantastic eco to back it. He's spending a lot, but look at all these upgrades coming in. It's even long swordsman coming now. That's of course a reaction to the halbs. Getting long swordsman on the field, he already had the barracks and had some text for them. Defense among other things, so he has an answer for sure, but there are still some cab archers on the field. Nothing to stop qwerty of making more cab archers as well to deal with the long two-handed swordsman here. But now chemistry as well for Zupamann here, so he's really making use of upgrades here. You could even, with chemistry, you could even go for bombard towers instead of sending the base troops to extend the push even more. Champion being teched as well, and still producing cavaliers, producing consistently here with this nice still 4 TC eco working for him, I think. Yeah. And this looks to be dropping castles as well. If he's got a unique tech for Teutons, you get extra range on the castles as well. Not being a priority, only fletching on his castles. Here come the long swordsmen to be champions to deal with the halbs here. Lacking a little bit in production though, could be a conscious choice that realizes this might be enough, but looks like a decent engagement here, but we'll also be losing a little bit to cav archers here, but meanwhile putting up yet another castle near his forward production here. Look at this Stegevild's barracks, everything ready to just produce away and slowly push further and further. So Teuton's push, slow push, but effective push on a map like this. Pick on the champions in significant enough numbers. Even champions could take out TCs, but it's mainly a measure to deal with halbs here. Not really any more cav archers in production for qwerty, are there? Yeah, he still has heavy cav archers producing somewhere, yeah, further back in his base. So that's his answer to the halbs, to the champs then. Dropping more archer ranges, but he's starting to struggle a little bit for gold. There's 6 on gold for qwerty here, whereas Zupamann has 36 on gold. And he has full control over the neutral golds here as well. He's about to finish his 4th castle here. And it's just slowly extending his forward, adding more trebs, adding more cavaliers for the raids, and with champions to back it. So extremely gold heavy army, but what matters that when you can also pick the last few relics here to boost your gold income. And you have full control over the map. Look at all this grey all over the map here. There's not really much left for qwerty to do. I don't know if this is just some palisade scouting or what this is. Could be a monk in the corner here just hiding away. Here comes another forward castle as well from Zupamann. So shouldn't have any trouble finishing that. He's committing quite a few villagers to it as well. That would make production a bit more awkward for qwerty here. Cavaliers challenging on this side. But here comes Capram and even Paladin in for Zupamann here. And he has a significant score lead now with 5,000 score lead here with KD up to 20 to 125 here. And the GG is called. So we're back at even score here now. It's 2-2 and we'll be going to game 5 shortly. So looking at military eco, everything in Zupamann's lead here. Obviously he did take map control more and more with castles and army and whatnot. massive KD here and lots of racings, and then there's the food collection, no surprise there with the cheaper farms, just so much easier to boom with Teutons here. But gold collection also very significant here, was investing in all kinds of gold units, and there didn't really seem to be an end to Zupaman's gold income for this match. Uptime's pretty similar except for Castle Age though, for the Hans player already maybe arguably falling behind there at least in the relic heist, but he did capture 2 relics for itself, so he did take some map control after all. But 4 relics total for Zupamann in the end. He did pick up was about to pick up the last relic as well from his opponent's base, and see the relic gold income here. Pretty significant after all, since Zupamann had 1 more relic the whole game. Next map will be qwerty's home map, and qwerty has picked Indians for this one. Here we go, hideout, another kind of closed maps here. Would remind you a little bit of Arena, but wood line is in the middle between the 2 players, and there are palisade walls, not stone walls, so a false sense of security there. So this is Zupamann picking Khmer for this one. Fantastic sim for closed maps like this, I would say, because Khmer don't need any buildings to click up to the next game, so the next game to the next age. So they can go up real fast and smooth, and then either go for a nice boom early on, or some real hefty early aggression. Meanwhile, it's qwerty picking Indians for this one. So, in the event of Zupamann going for any early elephants, or for that matter knights with Khmer, then the Indians would have fantastic camels to deal with that. And Imperial camels from Indians in the late game, no joke either. They have a bonus against buildings, so they could almost replace siege in terms of killing buildings. So it should be interesting to see how this plays out. Well, Indians have a decent boom as well. The villagers are cheaper and get even more cheaper for each age, so it could have a great boom as well, but I don't really see how they would challenge Khmer on a map like this. The map as well looks can be sometimes be unbalanced on hideout with the neutral positioning of resources, but in this case it looks like a 3-tile gold on the right hand side for qwerty, 3-tile gold on the left side for Zupamann, and then yeah, they both have 2 3-tile golds, pretty close to their bases, and neutral stones somewhat similarly divided as well. And a little bit of fighting here, but looks like qwerty saves his villagers. He is hunting without loom out here, so that's kind of dangerous. But Zupamann has a weakened scout, so he didn't. Might have gotten a kill actually, looking at the numbers here. But yeah. Seems dangerous to go hunt outside instead of trying to push them in, but that's what the players do. Zupamann not hunting at all, just going straight for the feudal age with Khmer at 23 pop here, or 24 pop. So players going up at the same population, but qwerty a little bit behind still, since he committed some wood and such to hunting outside. That's some more walking and idle time for him in that sense. So Zupamann is indeed first to the next age here. Is set up pretty nicely for a straight fast castle here. It's only missing a little bit of food now, and then it's good to go. Note that he's actually, after mining the 200 gold, or enough gold to click up to the next stage, he went off gold and has gone back to other kinds of resources, placing farms, placing food. I think Zupamann is going for the advantage of the Khmer boom here. Meanwhile, qwerty getting close to clicking up as well, missing a little bit of gold, dropping the market now, but doesn't have the second building ready. Here comes the blacksmith as well, so qwerty is going to lag severely behind into the next age here. Meanwhile, Zupamann is scouting on his opponent's side to see if there's anything going on here. Doesn't see any production buildings or anything suspicious going on just yet. Here comes the stable, and qwerty will click up at more than 50% behind the current player. Although with the same population, both players going up at 25 pop here for hideout. But Zupamann with the obvious lead here while being chased by his opponent's scout here. So it looks like Zupamann wants to secure his side here, maybe wants his boom to get going. He has enough stone and wood for 2 TTs already, I believe, so he's going straight into the boom here. Real passive head start to the boom here, and palisading off and house walling a bit off to his side here, so he won't be facing any aggression without any notice from the right hand side. Meanwhile, qwerty is sneaking around the opposite side, but he's going for the wall off himself, so it looks like both players mean to play this somewhat passively here. 3 TCs going up for Zupamann here, while our Indian friend here has not just reached Castle Age and missing 2 wood for his second TC, which is going up on the wood line right now. Okay. So he's going for the multiple TCs as well, but he's already falling behind the villagers here. It's 27 to 25 right now. That number is only going to spike up as Zupamann has all of his 3 TCs producing. Here comes a stable from qwerty, but he will be running into double walls here, so his camels won't do anything just yet. That scout is going to need a moment to get through here. At least both players have secured their sides. Looks like this is closed, yes. So palisade walls for both players on either side, and qwerty already dropping siege. Really wants to break through here. Stable not producing though. And now with 2 TCs up, will he start producing villager from both? Yes, he will. Siege workshop is up. It's 38 to 28 villagers already, so the Khmer boom is really kicking in here for Zupamann. Now taking loom as well, might be looking to adding even another TC. This strikes me as a game that could go on for a while, since both players are mainly in boom mode here. But camels and mangonels are coming out for qwerty here. So he really wants to break through and try to do some damage to his Khmer opponent. Understandably enough, Khmer with many strong options to go for. Elephants being something you see especially in team games, of course, but then they have knights up until Cavalier in the Imperial Age, and decent Arlists as well, only missing Thumbring, so looks like one Mangonella is enough here to get through. Zupamann is responding to the siege to the Mangonella here with the siege workshop of his own, something that qwerty won't be able to deny in time here. But he will be breaking through soon. Not any more army being added, though. It's only 3 camels here and 1 stable production from qwerty here. Nothing too significant overall here. But it looks like it's going to be pushing with camels, a spear, and a Mangonella here. Also, no significant upgrades on the camels just yet. There we go. This is the siege workshop of the enemy, of course. Keeps the scouts and camels close here to deal with the siege whenever it on garrisons here. But he's mainly looking for the raider. Campbell's not the best raiding unit, I'd say. And Zupamann, of course, responding immediately with barracks going up. He will have pikemen at the ready once his opponent breaks through. He gets a nice mangonel shot in here on his opponent's mangonel as well, but the gate is weakened enough for cows to get in. And they need to run in now, though, otherwise this could be quick walled. Yeah, goes to engage the spearmen, but they just kicked in as pikemen, so that makes the fight a bit more awkward here. But unupgraded pikemen after all. But that's 3 barracks here for Zupamann. He's facing forward now, but he has a nice economic means to sustain pikes production anyway. So he'll just go straight into pikes, full pikes here, and deal with the little Campbell's raid going on there. qwerty will be getting some kills here, but he's so far behind in villager count overall. He's still only on 2 TCs actually, so even with he's gonna need a lot of kills to catch up with this. Meanwhile, Zupamann is also walled off the other side here, so he's just securing himself on both ends. Doesn't want any easy raids to come in, and rather wants to defend a little bit, get his boom really going. You see the builder need at 15 builders difference already. That's very significant at this stage in the game. Another mangonel is out for qwerty, but villagers are battering this one down for Zupamann here. Camels not being attended to forward here, and not really moving around, and pikes get many free hits there. Just now, qwerty is taking wheelbarrow. He is now adding his third TC, so he could at least match Zupamann's boom at this point until Zupamann goes for another town center, which he isn't doing just yet. He's going for some more farms on the sides here, and wants that full eco to spike up. So I'm fast forwarding a bit because there's not really any real action going on there, only booming and eco upgrades, and there's just a limit to how much I can say about the booming simulator here. But looks like Zupamann will go into the siege play here. It's likely going to be the Khmer Scorpions then, with the double crossbow and everything, so some kind of maybe halb Scorps push, halb siege push of some kind. Khmer get siege ram as well. They have a great siege tech tree actually, but still not too significant military numbers here for either player. They're just booming away, and Zupamann with his 3 TCs earlier on is having the boom head start here. One downside to Zupamann's walls though is that he only has access to 2 other relics here, so he's not going to be contesting the relics as heavily in this game as the last one. Meanwhile, qwerty is walling off this side with stone walls, really doesn't want any action to come through on this side sneakily. Both players will be going to imp, but Zupamann with at least 10 builders more here. Mill was a reflex. Oh, okay. Yeah. I think with Khmer on the close map, I will always go for another TC with farms instead. So it looks like a Halb's ram push here for Zupamann. Should be tough for Indians to deal with. Their strongest unit in that sense is the Imperial Camel, and they will of course struggle against Halbs. They will have light cav. Do they get Hussar? They get Hussar as well, so they have a means to deal with the siege push to that extent. But then again, there will be Halbs on the field for Zupamann. 3 siege workshops for Zupamann now. Both players approaching the next age. It's mainly pikes in the military here for Zupamann, but no military whatsoever for qwerty here. It's just adding units now. It's going for the cavalry archers as Indians actually, which is good news for Zupamann because the Rams will soak so much fire from the cavalry archers, so they won't really do too much for qwerty here. So here come the Rams. Imperial Age is in. Let's see, where's the capped ram click? Surely it should be coming soon. There's capped ram, indeed. And now revealing what's coming for qwerty here. Let's see if qwerty reacts somehow to this. He's committing to the cav archer's play here. Has one barracks up, doesn't have any stables at home at all. Surely he has to be thinking about some defensive measure here. He's committing to the cavalry archers, getting ballistics, getting all the appropriate upgrades here. But now he will have cat rams against him, for sure. It will be siege rams soon as well. Zupamann actually has the resources to research it already. But Halts are in with their appropriate upgrades here, and with garrison inside now probably, just to have the rams move a little bit faster. Yeah, there's siege ram coming as well, and that will kick in, yeah, not too long after the rams are forward to hit his opponent. Dropping some forward barracks as well. I really don't see how qwerty will deal with this at his current stage. A castle could stop the progress a little bit, but then again a castle would crumble to siege rams. Zupamann of course doesn't know what the archer range is here, but he also hasn't seen any stables yet, and qwerty is playing it mostly passive here with a little bit of early aggression, but only a few cannons raiding, not doing too much. Siege ram is in, will crumble this cape-like paperwork here. It's 2-0 speed, it's fast, yeah, that's true. But they would be faster with the units garrisoned inside. So mangonels for qwerty here, that's also a decent reaction actually, because you can get a lucky hit in on the halberdiers, they will take damage. And they will of course also damage the siege rams, but I still think it's going to be very, very tough for qwerty here to clean up this forward with more halbs and more siege coming forward. Yeah, look at the cav archers virtually doing no damage to the siege ram here, soaking fire to the siege ram here. Zupamann directs another siege ram in this to target archery ranges here to make production more difficult for qwerty here. Indian champs. Yeah, that could be something. What's the tech tree like? Okay, only missing the last armor. But he isn't really teching it though. But cav archer most certainly not the answer here. So I'm puzzled as to why he would go for that against Khmer. Khmer first and foremost need to be punished only because they have such a great eco. Yeah, he needs that exactly, yeah. Yeah, qwerty down to 98 villagers now. He is taking some neutral resources on the side. He's dropping more ranges. He's committing to the cav archers here. Which I guess kind of makes sense because that's what his eco is set up for, but he has the means to go into... Yeah, now he's going skirms as well. Hand cannoneers. Well, Indian hand cannoneers are good actually, but they still will... won't be enough, I believe, against these masses. Defensive castle going up, but the base is being breached to all sides here for qwerty. Is losing production buildings to rams. No forward siege work for Zupamann yet though, but forward stables, forward barracks, and very nice eco to back it. Very wood heavy, as you can see, wood and gold. Just a steady flow of siege going for what's Unfortunate for qwerty now, it's no neutral resources other than a bit of stone to fleet to here, so he won't really be able to do much here. Besides, this side is walled, so his only option would be to take into Onager and cut through here and try to do some damage to Zupamann that way, but first and foremost he needs to deal with the forward in his base, and he's still committing to the archer range play, and that's just going to do so much for him against the siege push going on here. Now even that cab on the field for Zupamann to extend the raids a little bit, and if he's seen any skirms, of course the light cab will deal with those. The defensive castle will go down for qwerty here. He has some onagers now doing a little bit of work here. They could get some nice hits in on the ramps, but the damage has been done. He's been losing his TCs and production capabilities, and the military count are 46 to 28 now for Zupamann. Populations vastly different as well. It's almost 100 population lead for Zupamann in this point, but leads up the siege rounds with onagers here. Some light cab taking some shots for the cab archers here as well. But most importantly, the production capabilities of qwerty is still going down here. He's never being allowed to produce as enough army as he needs to. He's dropping stables now. Maybe reacting to the light cavalry, wants some camels out or something, which could also deal with the siege, of course. But his food eco is severely lacking. Yeah, too late for Honorius now, it's over. Exactly. So I think the archery range commitment, he was just too determined on the archery range play here and the cab archers, and didn't see what was coming for him until it was too late with the halves and the siege rank push here. And the GG is called. Not unexpectedly, being down to 69 pop against 189 here, and with no reason to escape further on. The only thing you'd have access to is wood and a bit of neutral stone. So let's see. So that brings the score up to 3-2 for Zupamann here, and we'll be moving on to another home map of Mr. qwerty here. KD not too dissimilar this game, but Billings race being the key here. Never the means for qwerty to replenish his army, and in the end, of course, his eco was suffering from it as well. Very unbalanced here. Didn't have a market or lost his market, so he couldn't really sell wood to adjust the eco either. Strong eco lead for Zupamann the whole way. He was much earlier to the cast stage, got to the 3 TC boom a lot earlier, and just kept that lead by walling off and fending off the early aggression from his opponent here. Uptime still pretty similar though, especially the Imperial Age here, where qwerty was first, but wasn't really in the position to exploit it. We are too good on hideout, yeah, indeed. So next home map of qwerty is Danube. Here we go. So the map is Danube, or it's called Necro Danube. It's a bit more nasty because the amount of wolves have been doubled. So imagine playing on fast speed, going out to dock, and you run into 2 wolves along the way. Then you're in deep shit. But it's not too dissimilar to Highlands. There's a big crossing here in the middle of by a river here. So the crossing is could be a bit larger than the regular Highlands. I'm not sure. I haven't played Highlands a lot. I think there are some. I was going to say there are some neutral boars, but both these are actually Zupaman's boars. So boars for both players pretty far forward here. That board placement is actually horrible for qwerty here. It's so far out. Anyway, this will be a map where water control can be essential, because if you control the water, you control the crossing. Your opponent can't safely land units on the other side, so some early land aggression will be key here if you don't want to control water. qwerty here going with Berbers tells me that he wants to go for the land cavalry play mostly, but their ships, they have a slight ships bonus as well. They move faster. So that's something at least. But again, Berbers, more of a cavalry save. Cheap cavalry overall with cheaper knights, cheaper camels, that kind of things. Starting from Castle Age, is it? And even cheaper in Imperial Age. Then on the other hand, we have Vikings for Zupamann. Fantastic overall save actually. Great on water. They have a unique unit in the longboat. So they don't get fire galley though, so they will have to make do with regular galleys until they can get to the next age. Looks like Zupamann, he either sniped some sheep here or his own sheep were just very far forward here. Nah, it's his own sheep, it's on his side. So anyway, both players bringing in the boars here. qwerty actually missing a couple of his sheep in the back here. He knows they're there, he just hasn't picked them yet. So the most beneficial side looks to be the right hand side. It's more deep fish there, but of course you need to dock and scout to get there. So far both of the players are just doing their regular land builds. Zupamann actually going to mill here, so maybe it's not going to stress the docking at all here. Anyway, let's fast forward a little bit and see if we can catch up with any potential feudal age action here. So Zupamann only with 3 onward here. He's dropped the barracks and he's taking Boom now, and he might be looking to go for some kind of man-at-arms opening here. Meanwhile, qwerty is forward with a villager here, running straight into Zupamann's side. It's just passing. Zupamann has to see this. There's a little purple dot in the middle of his base. Hello. It's not worth dock for fish. Well, there's 2 deep fish here and there's 3 here. But anyway, even if you're not fishing, it's worth docking for water control. So just to have a dock and have the ability to scout it, and to control the crossing here, I'd say that'd still be huge. So qwerty scouts the militia here, so he knows what's coming. Both players in feudal age. What's qwerty's play going to be here? He is heavily on food, so it's going to... I was wondering where he was going to drop his stable, but that's of course forward, because he has a villager on this side. So he's going for the forward sneak here again, as we saw on the Baltic play. He went over with a sneak to his opponent's side and snuck in some cavalry. Looks like qwerty will be able to wall off most of his areas before the militia can get here. He did scout them after all, so he should be fine here. It's still an opening on this side though, but let's see if Zupamann knows that that's an opening. He will need to task his army in, which he did right now. Now they're taking a long way around here. But here come the walls, and I think the militia won't be able to deal any significant, or men-at-arms rather, won't be able to deal any significant damage now. Zupamann did see the sneak villager, I believe, but does not see these buildings. So he's possibly in for a surprise here, but he has the barracks, he has feudation, he can make spears. He'll be fine. Four scouts total now for qwerty. So 4 scouts and 3 men-at-arms on the other side here. So both players forwarding each other. qwerty looks for an opening. I think he tasked the scouts in now. Let's see if he finds a way in here. Should be quick wall potential here for Zupamann. Maybe just a gate here to obstruct the pathing a little bit, and he'll be fine. Question is, did you see the purple dot on this side when they tried to move through? Because they didn't attack. Here we go. Zupamann reacting by making spearmen now. Meanwhile, qwerty has also docked and he is going for the fish, so his food eco is going to benefit from that. He could transition wood into food this way. Waiting to the scouts now, but run away because of the spears here actually being chased. Maybe wants to clean up the men-at-arms. There's some archers here as well, but they don't have fletching, so the scouts should be able to pick these off nicely. So qwerty going on the defensive now, doesn't want the men-at-arms to bother him anymore, and not the forward archers either. Some decent micro here as well, loses 1 scout, but cleans up most of Zupamann's forward army here. He even supplies another scout, so it looks like both players will be committing to feudal age for a while longer here. qwerty with the advantage of being on the water fishing a little bit deep fish here. And such a short way to the dock as well, and just turn back and drop the food immediately. That's also going to make continuous cavalry play a lot easier, because you need lots of food for knights and that kind of stuff. Bit unfortunate running into the wolf here while trying to wall off this section. qwerty is going forward. There's only 1 spear, no upgrades, so that's a fight he should be able to take. Even with the villager helping out, but she is weak, so this should be fine for qwerty. He might lose 1 scout. He actually just runs straight past, goes for the villager now. Need to focus the spear as well. Take the weak one away maybe. Yeah, cleans up there, but does not go back in. Oh, there we go. So blacksmith being denied by Zupamann on this side meanwhile, so he has some presence forward with spears and probably archers still, a couple of archers in queue. Scouts meanwhile just chilling out on the backside here for qwerty. Fire galley out on the water for qwerty here. That helps him a bit in controlling this crossing here as well. If you get some normal galleys out as well, he will have a great defense against any archers passing through. Scouts out running in, focusing another spear, might or might not lose one, almost loses one, but it's fine. But meanwhile, it's full wall on this side, so won't really be happening much here now. I don't think another villager pick is possible either. Gets a spear though, and here's the market being dropped. And qwerty well on the way to the castle age now, while Zupamann will be up as soon as he gets his blacksmith up here. Because he's only missing the second building and then he's fine. So it's blacksmith stable for qwerty here. He's going to commit to the cavalry play, naturally being Berbers. And now on a mission of breaking out here, where they were trying to break in earlier. Snipes the walling villager here though. I like the idea of Zupamann walling. It could have been all the villagers walking out on their own as well, but kept the villagers safe from the scouts on the inside while walling from the outside, but gets sniped by some more scouts from the stable here, so didn't work out in the end. There's Castle Age for the Berbers player here. Yeah, some presence of water, just fishing a little bit. Could easily go for fish traps as well. But now going for more land economy, getting a TC up on both wood lines here, and is in double stable knights production here. One stable on either side of the river, and even dropping some forward siege. Now where's that villager going to come from? That's the one. So you'll need to task some of your army to deal with this man here. This spearman. Yeah, knights with +1 attack and +1 defense here now. 3 knights. If they work from uphill, well, they need to focus the spears though, otherwise won't be an option here. But now Zupamann taking into pikemen. This siege workshop is very likely not to go up here for now. And pikemen on the way in, bodkin arrow as well. But the crossbow upgrade, not just yet. So that could be hurtful for Zupamann here. So delaying that crossbow upgrade, because with 8 archers we have a decent mass to deal with knights. It looks like even field age archers are doing a decent job here, and Zupamann could always replenish, of course, with more army. Textile, sensitive spears, sensitive pikes. That pike upgrade, is it behind some units in queue? It is, that's why it didn't kick in yet. That's really unfortunate for Zupamann there. He could have had pike long ago. Still cleans up, but at the cost of quite a few of his archers here, and the KD is 27 to 17 for qwerty here. Not too much army production for qwerty at the moment. He's committing to a couple of more knights, still with only the +1 though, and engaging the spears here now, but will lose 1 knight if he doesn't pull it away. No, actually saves it just in time there. He did delete his forward siege workshop, probably be dropping a 3rd TC now. Yeah, he will. He's with a slight villager lead here, has some army presence, and he drops the siege workshop at home. Maybe expecting some archery forwards here then. But at the moment, Zupamann is mainly booming is with 4 military only. His opponent at 7. But also dropping the 3rd TC, will be catching up on villager count here, and with his free handcart from Castle Age, already of course the Vikings eco is to be reckoned with overall. So Scorpions in the mix for qwerty here. That's a nice touch. That could deal with both archers and infantry units actually. So that might work out very well for him in this setup to complement the knights. I'd like to see some mangonels on ramps as well, though, just for dealing with TCs here. By the way, this TC is even reachable by fire ships from the water. So if qwerty opts for a few more docks, you could even send fire ships in here to make life difficult for the workers of Zupamann. That's why this map water control is arguably important for this map, because when you build this close to the shoreline, your buildings should be punished easily by your opponent. Finally, +2 armor coming in for qwerty here, and Zupamann producing pikes out of 2 barracks, but the pikes, let's see, still only +1 armor and no attack upgrade, so the knights in numbers should easily be able to deal with them one by one here. Needs masses of pikes for this to work, and still there are scorpions to help out in the fight here. Zupamann has caught up in the villager count though. It's quite food intensive to go with Knight's line, these kinds of things, so that means qwerty might have some idle time in some of his TCs. It's 71 to 67 villagers now, so not too significant difference. But look at the ecos as well. Zupamann floating extreme amounts of gold here, even with only 10 gold miners, because of the fact that they collect more before they drop off because of handcart, and because he's not really spending his floating lots of gold here now, which could be spent or adjusted with a market if he has it. He doesn't, but he's dropping one now and probably looking to adjust that eco a little bit. But now it's 15 to 6 military for qwerty here, and qwerty is in the process of punishing the Vikings boom here now. Still no ramps or forward siege workshops being added by qwerty here though, and now a siege workshop for Zupamann going up. If he can get the mangonel out, he could easily deal with the scorpions here if he gets a nice hit or two in here. Will be breaking in now, send the knights in now, just go for the raid. Could also take out production here, of course. The scorpions aren't dealing a lot of damage to buildings, but here come the knights to raid Zupamann's eco, and it could be really hurtful now with the lacking number of pikes for Zupamann, at least in the current position. Oh, Mangonel is out, gets a knight's hit on the knight and takes out one scorpion here as well. I think this TC will not be denied because the knights just don't have a nice path in, but finds at least one villager here, and it's still devastating for Zupamann to lose villagers like this. Is 92 to 79 now because of some raiding, but now producing out of 4 TCs, it should still be only 3 for qwerty here. 1, 2, 3, yes, so qwerty will actually potentially fall behind the villagers again. Now Zupamann getting the docks up. Being Vikings, he could go for the longboats, but looks like he's going for the war galleys. And should provide him with some control over the map here. That's something that qwerty doesn't see at all actually, and there are some villagers going forward for Zupamann here. I don't know what the play is, but he will have some presence on land now, maybe drop a range or something on the other side here, and a lot of, or all of qwerty's army is forward. So a counter-attack here could be very nice at this point in the game. War galleys on the water as well for Zupamann here, so he found a way to kind of deal with the knights here, but when they are on the shallow terrain like this, the knights can still hit the ships and actually kills them quite efficiently here. Yeah, so the ships get cleaned up here by the knights because they're on the shallow terrain where the knights can engage. So that's kind of a waste of ships by Zupamann there when you could just back off to the water and save them. His forward villagers have been spotted as well, so there won't be any forward forward castle for Zupamann anytime soon. He's gone for the forward stone because he hasn't scouted his 2 stones, so he went for the forward stone on qwerty's side instead. And qwerty responds by, well, if you're taking my resources, I'd better extend my eco myself. But here comes some forward villagers for qwerty. Is that going to be a forward castle now? He's missing some stone. No, he's just really committing to the knights player. He's dropping a whole of 6 more stables here. And about to hit Imperial Age, he's going to get to Cavalier. What's Zupaman's situation like? He could be clicking up soon, but he's really needs his military numbers as well, so that might not be his priority at this moment. Cavalier coming in for qwerty here. He also has Husbandry finally, and Iron Casting. I really don't understand why qwerty doesn't challenge water though, because it's so many buildings so close to shoreline here, and now Zupamann is the one taking a little bit of water presence, not really committing too much into it though. He's text into, yeah, that's War Galley right there, and the Imperial Age click is in, but it's now 17 to 22 military here, and Cavalier is about to kick in, and once Cavalier kicks in, I believe qwerty will just move forward and try and end this. Mangonels won't really do much against knights, of course, and the ships, as long as they stay close to the shores, the knights can even deal with those. Oh, but demo. Oh! That's it. Weakens 3 knights there at least with that demo. Here comes the longboat as well, but I think these are just 2 huge numbers for Zupamann to handle at this point. He's also fighting Imperial army with Castle Age army here, and his Mangonels just attacking Royal, not really doing much here other than hitting his own longboat. And qwerty wants to impair map vision here, so he goes for the outpost before he goes for the Mangonels here. Nice surround here, only extending his numbers, now dropping a castle on the shoreline as well. That makes it more awkward for the ships to do anything at all. As the longboat goes down, the Monstry is up for the Vikings player. No monks in the vicinity here though, and he's up against 28 Cavaliers here, which is no joke for Zupamann. Double agents, Mangonels, yeah, exactly. So here come the Cavaliers in for the race again. Splits up a little bit here as well to raid on this side and target chips on the other side here. I think qwerty needs some siege of his own, but he is queuing trebs now, and he's also... No, he's not committing to water actually, he's fine with things the way they are. Some nice demo hits for Zupamann here though. Look at all these Cavaliers corpses on the shoreline here. And now the 7 Cavaliers firing away at the TC here. That's just not going to be enough unless... Nah, could be enough, but he will be taking some serious damage along the way anyway. Captram coming in for qwerty. So now he wants to take out production in best visibility. Berber's heavy scorpions at work here as well. That of course deals nicely with Vikings infantry. While Zupamann is dropping a defensive castle on his shoreline, something that qwerty should really be paying attention to, because he has Cavaliers on the other side, could easily deny this. But decides to extend these raids instead. And the populations are pretty vastly different here. It's double the population for qwerty here, and he has double the military as well. And actually this castle isn't too huge of an issue, because he could treb it down, assuming he could get the treb on land here and not stay subject to the demo ships or other kinds of fire on the water. So Cavalier is now trying to break out, is that it? Still it's 45 to 23 military here. So much military at work for qwerty, spending his resources nicely here. He's getting ballistics and chemistry as well, and opting for some Genitors. So Genitors to deal with pikes maybe, could be. But Captime is out, heavy Scorpions as well, and here's Treb to deal with some production. I think he's going to go straight for the cast now, because now he has the means to defend anyway. Cavalier is raiding away, the villager count is 132 to 44 here. Yep, Treb taking down the castle now, but Zupamann about to get Trebs of his own. He is significantly behind though, he's still to half the population, less military. Getting conscription should make army production easier, but Captrams dealing with production facilities on this side, and Scorpions ready to deal with any infantry crossing the line here, so these pikes should be going down very quickly. Even the Cavaliers could challenge here without any significant trouble here. With Scorpions firing behind, this is an easy fight for qwerty to take, and it's with double the score here, so should be pretty good spot for qwerty to be in here. It's now advancing forward a little bit here. We really wants this castle down, but it's now adding another Treb. That should be okay, since the Cavalier is in under castle fire. Maybe wants to target the repairers, but then there are quite a few pikes on the field for Vikings. Vikings, however, only get pikes, they don't get halberdier. But they do get a unique tech that gives their infantry a bonus damage against the cavalry, so Viking pikes not useless either, just slightly worse than halberdiers. GG question mark? Yeah, that's it. So well played both. Surprisingly little water play here. Still deep fish to be taken even. I mean, why would you opt for the fish pool later on and exploit the fact to have a less raidable food economy? And well, let's look at the stats before we go into the final game. Double the score for qwerty in the end, actually a little bit more than double the score. KD very impressive here, and consistent largest RD for him. A nice addition with the heavy scores to deal with Vikings infantry as well, because Vikings have strong infantry. Yeah, more resources collected overall, and also specifically earlier up to the Imperial Age here. So bringing up the last one now, that's on moats. Okay, so moats for the decider game here. That's Zupamann's last home map. And yeah, it's a map that's had some adjustments actually since their early launch. This is actually kind of a bug you shouldn't have, but there's no fish here or anything. But if we had seen this live, this would be cause for an admin re, because if you look to the other side, there's no water formation like that on qwerty's side. But overall, looks like Zupamann has decent space on this peninsula. Maybe not too significant, the difference there. But could potentially call an admin re for this, if that's what's the generation look like, because that's less space to build on. So moats, it had been adjusted since the first few renditions of the map, because on the first few versions of moats you would only have a peninsula each with a very narrow crossing between these waters that cannot be docked, they are too narrow, and it would be maybe this broad, the crossing. It's been extended a little bit to make it more difficult for your opponent to wall you off your resources, because in the earlier versions of this map we didn't have any woodlines inside the peninsula like this, so we would be desperate to migrate out to get to the the neutral resources, especially the wood. So not an obvious option anymore to wall out your opponent, but Zupamann here is at least walling off his section, maybe trying to secure kind of a stabs fast cavalier into siege or cavalry or some such like that. So that's a great siege. Really unlucky border here for Zupamann though. His saves it almost in the end, but ends up with the board a bit outside. It's a bit unfortunate. But here we see qwerty already going migrated to the big wood line on the outside instead of going to the wood line inside its base. Could be good news for him if Zupamann doesn't immediately scout this early, because then he would have somewhat safe wood line. You liked previous versions of moats. Oh, really? Yeah, I hated that map. This looks a little bit better. It was just too easy to deny your opponent of significant resources on the early moats. You could say that's on the player himself, of course, not to prevent wall off early on, but I don't think matches should be like that. Shouldn't be that easy to lame someone off moving out to the actual important resources like wood, especially. So qwerty here is milling the hunt on this side, actually with 6 deer total. That's not a bad idea. It's a decent mill, actually. Oh, you won with being walled. Yeah, okay. That's... Yeah, walled in. I know, yeah. That's impressive, of course, to be able to do that. I would just be tilted and frustrated and call the GG, unless it was the decider game like this game 3 here, game 7 here. So, doesn't look like we'll be seeing any significant action here just yet. No army buildings, I'd say it looks kind of like a... Well, let's get that one up. So it looks kind of like a fast castle build for Zupamann here, committing to more villagers production, whereas qwerty is going for the feudal age here. He's Italian, so he can go up cheaper. Ah, it wasn't game 7. Okay, so you didn't order them in... There have been surprisingly many sets being decided on moats, actually. So what's the Italians players play here? He is not committing to any... Oh, there's the barracks, yeah. So he is going for some kind of feudal action. Here's Spearman out. But... nothing else. Interesting. From the population he went up on, I would say it could look like kind of a scouts build for qwerty, but he didn't add any stables or anything yet. He is committing 2 villagers out here to drop something. Here's the archery range. So it's the Scout Spearman archery range rush here. Feudal Age meanwhile coming in for Zupamann here. Not quite with the resources to pick up yet, but only missing a little bit of gold, and drops the buildings and will then go straight for the Castle Age. So Zupamann Scout goes down to qwerty Scout here. But I think Zupamann noticed the range going up in time, so he will know that he will get some archers in his direction. Meanwhile, qwerty is going for a tower here, so he's going for the feudal age tower play here. preemptive stone walls around the tower, so once the tower completes there's going to be a tower as well, so he wants to neglect the expansion from Zupamann here. Maybe not the worst place considering Zupamann is going for the fast cast stage here, but then again Zupamann will be in cast stage with a great eco and he's not really particularly threatened by this tower either once it goes up. So archers and towers for the Italian player here, Zupamann responding by dropping his barracks and then investing into some army soon enough, I guess. So it's Italians, towers and archers for qwerty in the decider game here. That's very un-meta style of playing, I would say. Especially with Italians, you don't see them picked on land maps a lot, and I think this should be considered a land map. But Zupamann just preemptively walls behind even further here and goes for a castle age approach here. Could even go for another TC on the woodline here, it's certainly justified with this amount of wood. So Zupamann gets taken off his woodline, but shouldn't worry him too much. He has a woodline in the back here he could flee to. Now going for the siege workshop. Since there are archers on the field, just get the scorpions or mangonels out and deal with the archers. Field age archers can't stand that kind of weapons. qwerty, however, still very far away from the castle age click. He's missing lots of food at least. Now going for the laboring approach on the stone of Zupamann here, but Zupamann actually doesn't have... Yeah, he has stone inside the base. Inside his base, there it is. Both players should have stone and gold inside their main bases. Yep, Scorpion is out for the Slavs player here, getting some nice hits in on the Spearman here. Actually, Scorpion counters basically anything on the field here for qwerty. Except maybe towers, of course, but... qwerty, however, out of stone is only dropped that one tower, so he didn't commit to any more stone. He's now dropping the market. Maybe he'll be buying some stone, or just adjusting to get to the castle age himself. Italians need less resources for the app click anyway. Blacksmith market, click app. Okay, looks like he was struggling a bit with the food there. But I'd say this forward of qwerty here isn't really doing anything to Zupamann, other than causing an annoyance. Here's another town center for Zupamann. He will have a massive resource lead by the time qwerty reaches castle age here. Even though the villager counts are identical here, Zupamann will be having his second TC up very soon. He will be producing from 2 TCs and be while qwerty won't have any TC to produce from. So that's very significant for the eco there. Meanwhile, qwerty adding another archer range, going from crossbows here. It seems crossbows, pikes maybe. This TC is almost reachable by mangonel fire from the other side, but I think it's just outside of reach, so that's fine. And some serious laming going on from qwerty here. Doesn't really make sense though to commit stone walls to this, because Zupamann still has stone and gold inside his base, something qwerty should be aware of, even though he hasn't scouted it. Here comes mangonel forward to deal with the tower, I guess. And some scorpions in behind the walls here as well, to make sure the spears won't get any cheap hits in here. Zupamann dropping his third TC on his home peninsula actually. And this army is standing on the other side of the choke here. They don't have any chance to get in, so they will only take damage from scorpions and mangonel fire here. So nice defensive play from Zupamann so far. Being slightly behind the score, something that could only be attributed to scouting, I think, because qwerty has more scouting intel of the map overall. But Zupamann is on a 3 TC boom, while qwerty is still on only 1. So he's doing YOLO 1 TC play here. Look at the villager counts here. So population counts are pretty similar. It's 80 military to 3 for qwerty. That could also explain the score lead actually. But the villager count almost 20 more for Zupamann over the day, and that's only going to extend even further. Looking at it, it's 15 on food at the moment. That will spike up as well because his farmers simply work faster. And now bringing the mangonel forward and the scorps as well to try and deal with qwerty's production capabilities here. At the moment, qwerty doesn't really have any immediate answer to this kind of siege either. He's adding a mangonel of his own, so he's gonna pop out a mangonel here and maybe get a lucky hit on Zupamann's already weakened mangonel here. But meanwhile, he will almost lose one of his 2 ranges here, so that would impair his army production capabilities. Yep, sneak mangonel might get a hit on both scorps here as well. Very nice hit, so that's 2 for 1 right there. I think he weakened just a little bit more as well. Both players only producing from 1 TC now, even though Zupamann has 3 TCs to potentially produce from. Yeah, he's back on 3 TCs production now, extending that villager lead even more. Still only 1 TC for qwerty. That's his commitment here, but he isn't really allowed to do anything. Maybe a couple more mangonels. This one should be easily inside of range. And Zupamann is getting forging, so looking into some siege countermeasures here, maybe dropping a stable. There it is. Only palisades on qwerty's side, so if the knights are on the field, they should have no problem breaking to the palisades walls if the walls are significant enough. Mangonel firing away now at the DC, while Zupamann garrisons. Even with the garrisons and the 12 idols, he has more villagers working than qwerty, so that doesn't really make a huge difference in this combination. Sees the production buildings going up here now, so the crossbows are chasing the villager outside for Zupamann here, who is meanwhile taking defense upgrades for knights and adding another mangonel at home to deal with the forward mangonel qwerty here. qwerty coming forward with quite a few villagers here now. He's going to drop a castle on the stone here, so at the very least this makes expansion for Zupamann a bit awkward here, but he has more resources still inside of his base, so he's not suffering by any means here. Knight is here to address the 4 villagers as well, and Knight is actually being fought by by villagers here. I like that kind of fighting spirit. Those men and women here. But some crossbows here, ready to deal with knights, no ballistics obviously, so hitting moving targets not too easy here, but it would still go down. And Zupamann producing more, of course, but I think he won't be able to deny the castle in time. But meanwhile, looking at his resources, the eco is simply more healthy for Zupamann here. He's getting stone of his own, so once he gets to Imperial Age, he could drop a castle of his own and just shred this one out, and he's not in any trouble after all. Scores because of army, yeah, exactly, yeah. So defensive castle going up for Zupamann here now. is yeah, still lacking a bit of food and gold to go up to the next stage, but he's also committing to armies. Villager outside here managed to get another stable up before probably being killed by the scout, and now the knights are forward from him, raiding, trying to break to qwerty's side here. What qwerty should do now, though, is just stack up on some Genoese crossbowmen, because that's the ultimate counter to knights for a cavalry line. But doesn't look like looks like he's a bit too busy forward to notice what's going on at home, because he might simply have knights breaking in here unless he's very careful, and that with 8 knights raiding his base, that's bad news. But here comes the quick house wall here. Zupamann won't be allowed in just yet, but Villager can only build or repair one thing at a time, so we'll need to commit more resources here, but we'll keep Zupamann out for now. So another siege workshop going up for Zupamann here is also on the way to the village by 36 or so percent. qwerty is nowhere near Imperial Age, so he's going to be committing to Cast Age here. He's going to be desperate to keep the knights out here, but adds Monk as a defensive measure here as well, and of course stonewalling behind, so the knights won't really be getting anywhere here. Oh, almost 2 for 1 there. Nice hit for Zupamann. He gets the other Mangonel as well, because qwerty isn't paying attention on this side. Imperial Age will kick in. The population is in Zupamann's favor here. He has a slightly less military, but arguably stronger military. He has a decent amount of knights here ready to charge the crossbows, and will be in Imperial Age very soon with more siege additions to come. There's Imperial Age for Zupamann, and note that the qwerty's resources again nowhere near the next age here. Capram being the making for Zupamann, or at least being teched here, and that should certainly help out with taking out any potential castles here. The traps coming out as well. qwerty won't have any answers to that, as he doesn't have any mounted units himself. He does clean up some knights here though on this side, so he cleans up the knights of Zupamann. That might very well just be a distraction maneuver, as well as boyars come out on the field for Zupamann here, and a treb as well to handle this castle. Yeah, Monk will get the conversion now for sure. That's it. So military is still in favor of qwerty here, but Zupamann just doing the constant distractions here, sending light cab forward to deal with some of the monks now. I think he'll get a kill or two now this time around. He got 1, almost 2. But Genoese crossbowmen now on the field for qwerty, so he knows he's got a nice counter after all, but his castle will go down. And he's dropping out the one at home, but it's still going to take him a long time to mass enough Genoese crossbowmen to deal with Knight's push. 2 trebs now firing away. qwerty not even considering repairs for this one. Siege ram also on the move for Zupamann here, actually quite a few of them. Pathing a bit awkward between these buildings here, of course, but they will be getting there for sure. Mangonels in the mix as well, and trebs, and then boyars as the mounted alibi here. So with the additional grabs, that renders the archers here useless. And another castle goes up for Zupamann now at home to protect his gold and support his army moving forward. Only 1 ram on field now, but with trebs and everything fired away, this is going to cost qwerty a lot in terms of eco losses. Zupamann also has a couple of pikes on the field, so it's kind of a pike and siege push again, but also with some random units to back it, like boyards here, that could contribute like in a knight's role, but their pierce armor isn't in anything special. Nice split of qwerty there, dodges Magnet shot, but there's 2 Magnets now and a castle firing behind it, so he will be losing the army in the end. And meanwhile, Rhymes come forward as well to deal with desperate army production buildings going up here for qwerty, who now has a nice eco setup for himself as well. He's floating quite a bit of resources. Yes, actually been negligent in spending resources here, because he's only at 84 pop and floating lots of resources of all kinds here as he reaches the Imperial Age. And he's now falling behind in the military significantly as well. It's 21 to 12 right now. If once Zupamann breaks through here and gets some raids in with light cab or other stuff, I think it's over for qwerty. This castle will easily go down to shreds even from this side, so that shouldn't be a problem for Zupamann to defend. Siege Rams doing serious work here on the production potential for qwerty as well, and also a Treb in sneaky Treb in the woods here. qwerty is still committing to production buildings, but they will only do so much for him because they go up and do start production, and it's just going to take too long to get rolling, because now Zupamann will use the Rams to break through and get into his main economy, and there won't really be much left for qwerty to take on the map overall, because Zupamann is really playing the map here, now slowly extending his control, and with the siege composition that's really hard to stop as Slavs, because they have great opportunities in the siege department. They also have Drushina for the infantry, which has their infantry dealing splash damage. Some more siege ranks moving forward here, accompanied by some boyars, which have fantastic melee armor. Not so much spears armor though, but they can really take a lot of melee hits. I think Zupamann might not have scouted this area, but now he's in the... okay, there's some foundation too. But now his intention is to siege push this area. Drushina is expensive, yeah, and from the looks of it, you don't really need it here against the 1 TC push. I think qwerty is completely out of a TC now, actually, so when he loses villagers, he won't be able to replenish them. So that's really bad news for him, with siege rams inside his base. Pikes coming in, but he can afford a halb upgrade. He can afford that. He's just not queuing it, and he's even queuing some more Genoese crossbows as well, but there's not really that much cavalry on the field here. Oh, pity the Ram didn't see that going up. Or did he get a hit on that one? Actually, he did, because it's out of stone now. Because he deleted the foundation. He doesn't have stone for another TC. He isn't mining stone anymore because he's out of stone at home. But they used the market to buy some stone, and he's dropping another TC. qwerty not ready to give up just yet on his their last game here, which is his opponent's home map as well, and Zupamann seems to be dominating this one now, with the score being 2,500 above here, and a significant population and villager lead here. Not so much military, but in the long run it's just going to be eco for Zupamann doing wonders. Look at this, this is like 12 siege rams right here, or other kinds of units you'd want to go for. So qwerty actually re-walling, but not re-TCing at home. There's not that much left to protect here. A little bit of woodland and some gold, but I think you should consider expanding instead to get to the neutral resources if he wants to reboom, not really try to secure and confine his villagers at home here. He has added Condottiero to the mix now though, and that's instead of taking into men-at-arms line to get to champion, you could go for Condottieros as Italians in the Imperial Age, which kind of fills the same role, but they can also handle more archer arrows. That doesn't really apply here other than against Castlefire though, and but qwerty doesn't have any means to take out the castle. He's bringing forward the thread now, so I'm trying maybe a little bit of a pushback here, but from the current looks of things, his 50 or more villagers behind is going to do a serious comeback to take this game home in the end. Zupamann responding with the longswordman being added, maybe taking into more than that as well. It's a longswordman siege rank push now. He's abandoned the cav idea, considering that Italians do have the Genoese crossbowmen after all, which is a very good counter. There's only one trap firing here, and the longsword seems to be doing okay against the Condottieros here, who may or may not be missing some upgrades here. Stats don't look too different. So here come the siege ramps and more production being added for Zupamann as well. The ecos are vastly different between the players. qwerty is running out of resources. He has re-TC'd, so he has some gold access over here, but his food eco is less than stellar. No stone, 21 on wood. Up against now 8 siege ramps and soon to be probably champions from Zupamann. Just going for army numbers at the moment, but once he can afford the champion, he will go for that as well. Now sends the siege ram to this direction as well to deal with a little bit of barracks production here. And qwerty making the switch to archery ranges again to deal with 200 swordsmen here, but there are siege rams there to soak the fire as well, and I think Zupamann makes the right call now, committing most of the siege to this side just to take out the TC, take out the production, because there's not really much left on qwerty's starting island here, so not too much of a reason to hit that. So either ranges go down by crossbowmen from qwerty, or even our west maybe. No, it's got close. TC might very well go down again, and the villager counts are only at half for qwerty still could have potentially utilized more of the map to the edges here just to get a reboom and get his, especially his food count spiking up again. But Condottiero and they actually produce pretty fast here, so they could handle the siege nicely here as Zupamann is pushing further inside the old starting base of qwerty here, with the Condottiero kind of out of position here. 5 barracks producing from, but they produce so quickly, it's actually worth the effort here. Now I think Zupamann really needs a champion and is taking into that now. It's 12 plus 2 against 10 plus 4 here, so actually more at the same attack. Let's see, Condottiero. 1 plus 3, 0 plus 4. Some more armor for the Condottieros actually. Well, looking at the production tab here is a very significant difference there. The fact that Zupamann has had his 3 TC eco all along and expanded with lots more farms now, and he can afford this kind of spam and he can afford losing units, while qwerty can't really afford to lose nearly as much. He's still floating food and gold. He's dropped the mining camp now. Doesn't have a TC at all, as far as I can tell. No. Here are the trebs to deal with the castle at qwerty's side, which means the base is free territory for the champions to run in and demolish again as well. Yeah, qwerty now even getting housed. That's going to make it even tougher for him to get back into it production-wise. He needs to drop some panic houses for the Content production to be sustained here. Meanwhile, Zupamann is using his traps, adding more champions to make champions have 13+2, so they have more attack, 1+3, 1+4. Yeah, lots more. Keep kicking the Genoese here. I want to kick the Content. So, one more attack total for the champions from what I can see here. And now just constant supply of new forces from Zupamann because he can afford it, something that qwerty cannot. One thing that volunteers seem to deem lies David though is the siege, so that needs to be addressed by Zupamann here. He might be losing his tribes here now that don't have enough defense for themselves here. But now no production at all from qwerty here. He's floating quite a bit of gold, but yeah, he has the market. But no further production. He's at 69 pop against 168 here, and also significantly behind in villagers and military overall. For sure, it's going to be the death blow from Zupamann here soon. He's not going to let go of his position here. He did lose the siege shrine going forward, but it doesn't really matter because the GG is called and Zupamann is the Adept division champion. Congratulations to you, sir. So dominant eco overall. Look at the eco score in the end here for the two players. Villager high never passed 78 for qwerty. So just something about the eco dominance the fast castle with slabs could do here. Still questionable choice with Italians for this map, but then we've seen qwerty with some original sim picks, so we probably have some reasoning behind it. KD also more kills for qwerty in the end. He was almost constantly on the defensive at least for the last 30 minutes or so. But Zupamann, the ram and infantry push raised a lot of buildings and took the game in the end. So that concludes the Necropolis Grail, at least the Adept division for now. So thank you to people for watching today and other days, and oh, he didn't play modes until the finals. Ah, that sucks for him. That's if you don't really know that map, then you could be really put off. But anyway, I'm going to call the stream at this one, and thanks for watching, and yeah, I'll be back with